Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Straightforward Farming Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Reed, alongside Nick McCormick and special guest in the house.
Shanklank is here in the house.
Mr. Chanklanko.
I am. What's going on?
Nothing. What's new with you guys?
Nothing. Been a beautiful fall weather-wise. It's starting to get cold on us.
It is. And I dread it. We're not even into winter, and I'm sick of winter.
Winter clothes are more comfortable for me, though. Like fat guys look better in hoodies.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
That works out. And you got this nice little kangaroo pouch where you can carry your phone inside.
Exactly.
Because phones are the size of, small computers now, so it makes it easier to carry that along.
So, am I mistaken? So we're going to change clocks November. I'm going to call it 6.
This is the last time.
But I think it's the last time, ain't it?
I think so.
Is it?
We're going to fall back, and then that's it. No more.
Heard that.
Which I like the time we're on now, which would be technically daylight savings time, right? Because daylight savings time
I don't know.
I don't know.
Look.
Nonetheless, I like it better now.
I hate it when it's dark at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Nothing's more depressing. You walk out of the shop 5, and it's already dark. It's like, well, I got two choices: go to bed or go drinking.
Yeah.
And in the summer, then it'll be getting dark at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, because we'll be losing an hour of what we have now.
Dairy farmers might like it. I mean, it'll be daylight at 4 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't care if it's light at 4 a.m. because I'm not up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, I'm not looking to be there. Yeah.
So
I guess you can stay up till the sun comes up a little easier now.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah.
Doing us a favor in that regard.
Yeah. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, we change them and that's it.
I think so.
Which
Don't worry. They'll come up with some genius plan here for too much longer, and we'll switch it around again.
Oh, yeah, because this was all done in World War I to conserve energy, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised now we haven't lumped global warming in with this, and we just got to keep it,
Yeah.
They'll change it to 2 hours now, so it's really
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
We'll spring forward 2 hours and only fall back 1.
Yeah. Eventually, it'll be a day ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you guys want to talk about? Anybody got any good conspiracy theories? Anything we can just dive into and make ourselves look like dumbasses, or what do you want to do?
Well, we could probably pull that off regardless, but I don't have any good conspiracy theories, I don't think.
No, I don't either.
Been farming and such. I haven't kept up with the news much.
Now here, I guess conspiracy, whatever you want to call this. So my particular TikTok page has been inundated, and I am seeing 20 videos a day of flat earthers. Are you guys getting that on yours?
No.
Oh
my!
Now
Oh
my God! It is like I had
Now
never.
I'm intrigued, and now I got to go see it.
Yeah.
And it's funny as you go through this. So like, I'd never even gave the whole flat Earth deal a second thought. I mean, it just hadn't even registered, And so I start seeing all this. And of course, I always like to hear both sides because it's like, well, I want to see how stupid this side is. So you start listening to these people, and they do make some valid arguments until we get to the whole point of basically the entire, well, it wouldn't be a globe, it'd be a disc, I guess. Yeah. There's like this 300,000 foot ice wall that you're not allowed to go through,
Okay.
And it's like, then I get lost. Things get a little fuzzy for me when we get to that point.
Yeah. Well,
but
Hal Ketchum said the earth drops off short at the edge of town. So.
Right, exactly.
Wondering if they took the wall. Did that come from that dragon show on HBO? What the hell was that? Game of Thrones.
Oh, really? Yeah, I don't know where. It could be. And then they all try to kick it back. They're like, well, if you read your Bible, it talks about the firmament and this big dome over the earth and back and forth. So which I haven't researched any of this. I got to throw that out right now as to whether the Bible says that or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to read theirs because these people are like, they're like the Gleaner cult. They are dug in.
This is their cause.
Yeah, for sure. So, I don't know. And then they always talk about, well, all these pictures of Earth have been taken with fisheye lenses, which, once again, I'm clueless.
Yeah.
And, we've never went to the moon. We've never been into outer space, which that I could maybe see. I'm not saying we haven't. I could maybe possibly buy into that. So what do you think? Was the moon landing a hoax or not? What do you think? Just shooting from the hip. It don't matter. We're not. I could honestly see it either way.
I could see it either way because, well, let's face it, the government has a tendency to fib on a few things, and we were dying to beat the Russians. So,
yeah,
and I'm all for whatever we had to do to beat them. Like, I'm cool with that. But there are some suspicious things in there. To me, the moon landing thing's like the JFK deal. Like, you can watch 15 different things on it. And at the end of every one, you're like, yep, that's it. That is the one. And then you watch the other one, like, shit, they made a very good point on that. I don't know.
I would be willing to go as far as to say the actual footage that all of America watched in 69 with Neil Armstrong. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying I could see that being fake, and maybe we made it 3 or 4 years after that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't say it.
Funny that we made it so easy then, and now it's a bigger struggle.
We've lost all the data. We don't know how to get back.
We don't know how to get back.
So I don't know. But I'm not saying we didn't. We're just throwing out ideas.
Well, yeah. I got to think Tom Cruise can get there in that new jet, though.
I think so.
Yeah, Mach 10, he can get there. Shouldn't be a problem.
Bit of a struggle for him. He was getting a little gutted out there at the end.
Well, he just had to take it too far, Brock.
Yeah.
It was Mach 10, not 10.1, not 10.2, but he had to keep pushing it.
That's why I'm not a pilot.
Yeah.
When you go back to the flat Earth deal, and I'm going to use this term wrongly, so don't hold me to this, but nonetheless, I never realized this, and call me a dumbass, whatever, that's fine. So, you know how you always look at these big maps of the Earth,
Yeah.
whether it's on Google, encyclopedias, whatever, and like Greenland is like 6 times the size of the U.S., right?
Yeah.
It's actually not. It's actually way smaller than the U.S. Honest to God, if you look it
I
up,
believe you.
if you look it up in like actual square miles of land, it's way smaller than the U.S. I didn't know that. I was always used to looking at these maps. I'm like, well, fuck, it's way bigger. But and I'm going to use the term maritime, but I don't. That's not the right term. But everybody always says, that no, that's actually what they call a maritime map, and that's kind of has what become the standard. So that's why everybody's always thought that, and so they always tell you that go look at such and such map, and I forget what it's called, which everything is actually to scale. And then you see then on that particular, and you can Google all this stuff. I'm not lying. I mean, it's really the truth. But forever, I thought that Greenland was larger than the U.S. because I seen it on a map. I never took the time to look up the square mileage.
I never cared enough to.
So when you see stuff like that, it's like, well, maybe the flat earthers are on. You know what I mean? Because we're just going off of what we saw. So I don't know.
I figure I got bigger fish to fry. I don't worry about that. Yeah.
It's exactly.
I'm not planning on making it to the wall.
No,
so
I'm good.
As people, we're pretty gullible anyway, just in general.
Right.
The human race.
81 million can't be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I learned a long time ago on TikTok. As long as you say something halfway believable with a straight face,
Yeah.
they will believe it.
Somebody's going to buy it.
I mean, it took me 3 hours to fly up here to Alaska to
Yeah.
join your studio.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've had people that live literally 7 miles from me argue to the point that I am from Alaska.
We're that kind of people around here.
Exactly. And they're like, no, he lives like 7 miles from you. No, he doesn't. He lives in Alaska. Okay, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why he hates winter.
Exactly.
Cold up there.
Yeah.
Very cold.
So this is your Florida.
Illinois is my Florida, for sure. Come
It's
here
sure
to
beat Alaska this time of year.
It's a good place to retire, the low taxes and the nice climate.
Yeah.
Property taxes are low.
Oh, for sure.
Utilities are cheap. Hell, they're giving away solar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Elections are on the up and up here in Illinois. I mean, it's a great place to live.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
That's what always cracks me up. Being from Illinois, you'll talk to somebody in July, and they're like, yeah, we just come back from vacation. I'm like, where'd you go? Oh, we went to Florida. I'm like, what the fuck did you go to Florida for? It's just hot there in the summer as it is here. I mean, you didn't gain nothing.
I'm just looking at this guy to my right because he goes to Florida.
And I love it. And I'll do it again this year.
Florida's a great place, but I would rather go when it's cold here and warm there. But
I'm too large. Like I
don't go
try to
that far
stay
into
away
Florida.
from-
I don't like to fly necessarily. Well, that and I'm too cheap to do it. It's too much work now. Like they put a lot of restrictions and shit on it, so I just drive. So I don't go that far into Florida because, well, I can drive it.
He's a
I can drive it in
panhandler.
day. Yeah, I'm a panhandler. Yep. I can drive it there in 12 hours. I'm good.
I've only flown once, and with the security and stuff, and I could never do a flight with a layover, having to go outside to smoke. Gets 2 hours with no nicotine for me, and I'm not a real pleasant guy. I get a little edgy.
Yeah, flying's a pain in the ass.
If I've never been there, I like to drive to see what's between here and there. But if I've already been, like, to me, next time I got to go to Denver, I don't care if it costs me $7 million fucking dollars. I'm flying. I cannot handle the drive across Kansas anymore. I can't.
rough.
cannot pull it off with this equipment. It's awful.
I get that.
As a kid, we used to vacation out in Colorado. My dad liked to go to the mountains because he liked it cold. And he would drive it straight through, all the way to Pagosa Springs. That's a long drive.
The last 2 times we've been to Denver, I'm like, we're driving her straight through because I'm not. We got to get out of Kansas as fast as we can. We have to.
He'd get a speeding ticket every year in Kansas.
Yeah. And I don't know what it is about Kansas, and I'm not knocking the Kansas people.
No.
But it's like I can go to Nebraska. Even there's nothing to see in Nebraska, or you can even go south, whether you're into Oklahoma or wherever, still nothing to see there. But it's just something about Kansas. It's like, oh, my God, it just goes on and on and on.
It's flat.
When you hit Seek on the radio and it just comes back around and never stops.
Oh, my God. I drive everywhere we go. Like, if we're on vacation, I don't care if we go 4,000 miles, I drive it all. The wife doesn't drive any.
Yeah.
The last time we were, like, halfway across Kansas, and I'm like, you got to drive. I'm like, I can't do it. I got to get in the passenger seat and watch Netflix. I've had it with Kansas. I'm done.
I'll never forget when I was a little kid, we were going to Pikes Peak and Yellowstone and all that. And we had another couple and their kids with us, or their kid with us and whatnot. And we took a big conversion van for you younger folks. You have no idea what that is, but it was back when you had,
Pimping.
big pimping. And that we'd rented or whatever. And I remember we stopped by one of the other couples. Probably he was from here, I think. And we stopped by their house. And I remember getting out of the van. I'm like, their yard was dirt. They had no grass. And I'm like, what in the hell is this? So, all the adults are visiting or whatever. And kids, you go off and play.
Where?
This is just dirt. Like, don't get dirty. Okay.
Yeah.
Get right on that. Yeah, so I don't remember what we played now. I wasn't very old. Well, I'm old enough to remember it, but just barely. Yeah.
Truly just like Cousin Eddie off of vacation.
Yeah.
Coolidge, Kansas.
Yes.
Nothing here.
Nothing there.
Dirt yard.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome. Yellowstone was cool.
Yeah, I want to take the family to Yellowstone. I was wanting to go this year. Didn't get around to it. Of course, then they had the record floods and a lot of the park got closed.
Yeah.
Hoping to get them out there next year. I've been there, but yeah, phenomenal.
My dad was super mad because it was way more commercialized than it was when he was a kid. I'm like, that's the entire world, bud, compared to when you were a kid. Like, you went when you were 10.
Exactly. There were still Indians actually living here when you went.
That was before we landed on the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what years my dad and his brothers would always go camping. And it drives him nuts to see people that go camping in like a $40,000 camper, because they would literally load one van down with guns and ammunition, sometimes beer, and the other one would have tents, cast iron. They'd take very little food. They'd drive like 4 hours up into the mountains, and then they would camp next to a river. And they literally just camped and, drank beer together, and just him and his 3 brothers. And like that was the greatest thing in the world to him.
It does sound like fun, though.
It was like 3 hours to the nearest town. I mean, it was insane up in when they were packing, stuff to take down bears. they were pretty heavy into guns, so they were safe. But
to me, when you mention the word camping, I'm out. I'm done. So like my brother and all these guys that got their campers, and they drive 15 miles north to go glamping.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't. I'm not going to drag all that shit up there and pay a fee to sit there and drink beer when we can do it here for free and not have to buy a camper, load the shit.
You already live in the woods.
Exactly.
I was going to say, isn't part of, going camping, the traditional sense of camping? Like my dad and them, they would be miles from anybody.
Yeah.
But when you go to a campground, you're almost like going to a trailer park.
Right.
You're 10 feet from the next camper.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
We roll out the awning, the big screen TV flops out, all this stuff. It's like, what are we doing?
So, and I don't know, but I'm assuming this, which you know what assuming does, makes an ass out of you and me, but I got to think like camping's pretty unique to the United States.
I would think so.
I would think so.
If I live in Somalia, I'm probably not looking to go
Like
camp.
every day's camping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of like being homeless.
Surviving.
Yeah. We're going to go out and live off the land. Well, we do that every day here.
Exactly.
What else you got?
Yeah. We do go, when we go horse riding or whatever, we're technically camping as well. But boy, some of those horse camps are pretty primitive. You get humble pretty quick on that deal, but I enjoy that part of it. But it's basically, you're sitting around with your buddies and family, friends, whatever, having a good time around the campfire and seeing some cool shit during the day. And I like doing that 3 or 4 times a year if I can get away.
And I guess I should clarify, if things melted down in this country and that's how you had to live, I could do it. I wouldn't like it. I could do it. As what I'm getting at is I don't see the point in buying a $40,000 camper, driving 15 miles, and loading all your shit and unloading all your shit.
Driving home to shower and going back up.
Yeah, and you're just constantly just loading and unloading stuff the whole time.
And then you get home, you got to unpack the entire deal, clean all the shit, put it back in. Yeah, I get that.
I don't know how many times when we were kids, we'd go out to the woods and we would say we were camping. And for a while, until Dad put a camper out there permanently, we would literally lay on a wooden bench next to a fire.
Yeah, that was a great time.
And that was that. Mm-hmm. You hoped you brought enough whatever to cook over the fire. But,
we used to camp at the river some here and there. And those were good times, sleeping
I don't regret it when I was 16
those were all
to...
fun times. But like I said, that was actual camping. That wasn't... That wasn't hit the button at auto levels, and
you're still not too far from, like, if something happened 3 miles from town.
Yeah, exactly.
You get whatever.
I just don't see any point in having a house payment to buy another house that this one's just on wheels that's still not paid for, and we're going to drag it 15 miles to live just like we would in the house that we're already paying for.
Yeah, exactly.
I need an $80,000 truck to drag it there.
Exactly. Well, this is good for our kids to go outside and play. Well, just tell your kids to go outside and fucking play at home. I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Live somewhere with an acre of yard.
Yeah.
Go to the state. We've got state forests not far from here that don't really get utilized that much. I take my kids out there a fair amount during the summer to play on the equipment because it's pretty decent stuff.
But if you notice, adults nowadays don't get together in the same way that our parents did. I know that sounds weird, but it seemed like back then my parents, like my dad. And I suppose everybody says this, but my dad really was one of the hardest working people I've ever seen. He owned his own construction business, built houses all day in the blazing hot sun. And he would come home at 5 o'clock and be like, so I joined such and such softball team. I'm like, you did what? After doing that all day, that's what you want to come home and do is fucking play softball?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't do that today.
Our generation ruined it, though. Like, our parents' generation, there was, why there was no travel sports for their kids? Because they were still playing sports into their 40s. And it was essentially another reason to drink beer in the grand scheme of the world. Like, it was a creative way to drink beer. Like, back in the day, there was how many
slow pitch softball
between slow pitch softball and Sunday volleyball. Like, I remember it was at a different house every Sunday, and there was probably 10 houses or whatever, and they all had a volleyball net. And that's just what you did. And they didn't give two shits about the kids. No. Kids, you entertain yourself. You come back over here, you get on the court, we're whipping your ass, and get out of the way.
Yep.
And that's just how it was. So they played sports into their 40s or where they didn't give two shits about the kids. Now it's like you're driving to Timbuktu. Oh, you want to play, little Johnny wants to play T-ball? Well, he's got to have 5 years of experience before he can play T-ball. So the parents can't do anything.
Yeah, we got kids throwing their arms out in fucking first grade. It's like, take it easy, guys. It's going to be okay.
I like to call them professional athletes when they're, 7 years old.
That's what I mean. They come into a basketball game wrapped up like a fucking mummy. They're already wearing knee braces and elbow braces and everything. It's like, you don't think enough's enough? I mean, you're either A, you're faking it, you think it looks cool, or B, if you're that hurt, maybe you ought to quit.
Yeah. But the reason we didn't have that problem is our parents were still doing it.
And the flip side is now everybody puts their kids in so much stuff. If I called 10 of my friends and said, every Sunday we're going to get together at my house and do nothing but sit on the deck and drink beer, most of them couldn't come. Well, got traveling league here and got football practice here and everything else here. And so
I'm not against organized sports. I'm against organized sports taking over a kid's life.
I agree 100%.
I played sports till I was in junior high. Early, I never played anything in high school, but we started basketball practice around Halloween because we'd always have a wiener roast at that time. So it would have been, mid-October, and it was done by like mid-February.
Yeah. And
you'd have like 1 or 2 practices a week, a couple games a week. That's it. One big tournament that you were gone the weekend. That's it. We're done.
Yeah.
Baseball was 6 weeks during the summer.
Yeah. The way it should be.
Yeah. I never once ever, not one time, played a school sport ever. Just wasn't into it. My kids, they're hit and miss, but they don't just do everything. And I don't hold them back. I don't, if they want to, that's fine. But my God, some of these people, it's just like, I would think you would get tired of the running. I mean,
yes, you do.
And when you see some of the kids, you can tell like they're not into it as much as the parent.
Yeah.
You know,
I've told my wife, and I don't mean this to be an ass, but it's like, I got to make a living.
Yeah.
If I'm going to sit on the bleachers for 9 months a year and can't get nothing done, then that's fine. We'll sell this place. We'll move into town, into a fucking apartment, and that's just, whatever you guys want to do, you take the pick. But you can't have both.
Yeah,
I'm with you there. It does get ridiculous fast.
I don't know. They've taken it way too far. They've taken the fun out of all of it.
You know, like, is fast pitch softball still a deal? Like, that was a big deal.
Yeah, you don't hear much about it.
I don't know if that still exists.
Once like you said, I think it's the kids' sports have taken over everything. So it's like
you know, the Decatur Pride was a big deal. I mean, that was in the front page of the sports section.
I mean, that was a professional softball team.
You know, yeah.
And there was a couple local guys, pretty local to us, that played on that till
that were phenomenal.
And they were, I mean, they played on that till they were in their 40s.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Yeah,
and I don't know. Some of that stuff would be fun, but going back to like when we were kids, my parents used to have a lot of, pool volleyball at least, 3 times a month during the summer. And everybody around would come to that. And the kids were allowed to be in the pool when the adults weren't in it. And that was about 10 minutes out of every hour.
Yeah.
Other than that, get the hell out of our way.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the yard. We don't care if you're in the fence.
Just as long as you're not in the pool, that's all we can.
Yep. But one of you has to stay here because if the ball goes out of the pool, we need somebody to get it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they'd do that.
Oh,
I mean, all day.
I give my wife hell all the time, and Nick and I have talked about this before. I parent just like my parents do. I'm very hands-off. I'm even that way at work, like if Henry's helping me. Here's how you do it. This is what it is. That's it. If I got to babysit you, then I'll do it myself. That's not doing me any good. And I parent the same way. These are the rules. Don't break them. If you do, there's hell to pay.
Yeah.
Where my wife, she's not like a helicopter parent, but if we're out somewhere and the kids get out of sight, then boy, she's up just kind of peeking around the corners, making, and I'm like, they're fine. Just stop. Let it go.
There was I believe it was a Sunday where Tony and I's wives left us unsupervised to supervise the kids. This is at our old house. And Tony and I are sitting on the patio having a good time, just shooting a breeze. And the kids keep coming in. They're checking in, this, that, and the others. Tony finally makes it very clear that if another kid comes onto this patio for any other reason other than a lacerated artery or a severely broken bone, we're packing this whole shit show up and we're out of here. Like, there's four-wheelers sitting there. There's sports to play. There's, probably some BB guns, probably some this, some that. Go use some of that. If you come back within eye shot, we're not going to be happy if you touch the patio. Unless you're about ready to poop your pants or you're bleeding. And it's going to be a big deal. And we didn't see a kid the rest of the day.
Nope.
They were gone.
Talking about shooting an eye out with a BB gun. When we were kids, Dad was letting us shoot a BB gun. And he had some boards nailed, like for a wood rack, between 2 trees. So my brother's got the Crossman out there, and Dad's like, well, see if you can hit that nail. Thinking there's no way. Hits it first time. Bam, lands it in his arm. Gets his pocket knife out, cuts it out. He's like, you'll be fine. Here you go. My brother's a good shot. Dad just wasn't quite anticipating that happening.
Can reuse that BB. Put that right back in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it drives me nuts when I go to somebody's house, then the kids want to hang on me.
Yeah.
You ain't part of this conversation.
Yeah.
Get out of here. There's other kids to play with.
Yeah.
We're just going to go home. I'm not dealing with it.
I say, if you don't want to play with your friends, we'll just go home. You can, if you're going to hang out with me, we can do that.
If I would have been 5 years old and the adults would have said, hey, there's 2 4-wheelers, they wouldn't even had to set. I would have already been sitting on them without it running, just hoping that they would say, hey, you want to ride that?
Well, the rule always was, out of sight, out of mind. Like, as soon as you come back where they can see you, then it's time to go.
And if somebody got hurt, you damn sure didn't tell the adults.
No.
I mean, you're making splints out of sticks and wrapping things up and, fake it till you make it. I mean, don't say nothing.
Absolutely.
Dad's rule was if you can start it, you can ride it. He didn't give a shit what it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you can start it, you can ride it.
Yeah. Oh, my God. The injuries that you push through, like, I'll never forget. For some reason, we were having some sort of family get-together, and my parents had went to Effingham to pick up chicken to bring to this family event. It wasn't at our house, thank goodness. So my brother and I decide that we're going to take a quick 3-wheeler ride, but to save time, we're only going to take one 3-wheeler, and I'll just ride with him. And then dipshit runs into a tree. Of course, he doesn't get caught on the tree. I do. So we skin the shit out of this tree. And it faces the kitchen window. So, like, parents are going to see this. And my leg and foot is not in good shape at this point in time. I mean, it's still attached, obviously. But he's like, you can't limp. If you limp, they're going to know. So we got, I think this is another fine time where we use shoe polish because it peeled the bark off this tree. So I think we either spray painted or shoe polished it back so it wasn't so bright yellow so you couldn't see it from the house. And I, fought off the limp for the rest of the day, even though it hurt like the dickens. But I knew darn good and well that if I got caught, my brother's going to beat my ass on the backside because that's just how he was. Like if you got him in trouble for something you should have covered for, he was like the mafia. Oh, can you do that with your left hand? No, give me your right hand. And he just beat it with a hammer. That was just his style. So we didn't get in trouble for it. We didn't get caught. We bent the 3-wheeler peg back because it caught the peg and it folded it around or whatever. A little pipe on that. We'll bring that back around. Honda shit's pretty tough. Straighten her out, no problem.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could take all the stuff that we had growing up? Because we did catch it right, too, as far as, sure, our parents, we always hear about the cool stuff that they got to do growing up, but it's like all the dangerous shit come out when we were kids.
Yard darts. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Here, take these 40-pound pointed darts and throw them over your head and see if you can dodge them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great plan.
But could you imagine if you
Still have a set.
If you went out here right now and just unloaded a trailer of Honda 200 3-wheelers and kids, go have fun.
No suspension, balloon tires.
No helmets. I mean, we're not getting carried away here.
Yeah.
I mean, just.
I remember going riding with my dad. He's like, well, don't be a candy ass. You can cross that. It's a river. Yeah, that thing will float. It's got those balloon tires. Just walk next to it. All right. And he was right. You just hold the throttle and you kind of doggy paddle your feet across there, hold the handlebars. You can float that right across. He's like, see, told you. I'm like, if I did that with my kids, my wife would stroke out. Yeah.
That's the part where you got to tell them, now your mother can never find out about this.
There was a few of those rules. When the first time we went to Missouri, and we ended up at this place, and the hills were pretty steep. And my 3-wheeler's at the back, thank goodness. So I fire her up, and I take off while the old men are all getting all suited up and ready for the day. And I go blowing up this hill a few times, and I come back, and Dad's like, those hills over there are pretty steep. You better just stick with the old guys today. We're going to take some trails and just kind of take her easy. I said, well, I've already been up it 3 times. He's like, oh, well, I guess go ahead then. Just don't tell your mom. All right. No problem.
So I've figured out that either our dads ruled with an iron fist or our moms just didn't love us because our moms never said nothing.
Well, they didn't have a say in anything when it come to that. Like exactly. I was just telling you earlier today, I'm like, wanted to have Max do some more stuff or whatever. And Mom's like, hey, he's too young for that. I said, what didn't bother you when I was a kid? She's like, oh, no, it bothered me. I just got overruled on your dad told me to be not to worry about it. It'll be fine. I'm like, well, I'm telling you again, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. I didn't tear anything drastically up on those situations. I never had any big farm incidents or
I didn't either.
Destructions, this, that, and the other. I mean, I can't fathom leaving my child on a open station tractor at 10 o'clock at night, chisel plowing in the dark in the cold with a shitty Carhartt that was like hand-me-down from a hand-me-down from a hand-me-down.
No cell phone, no nothing.
No nothing. Just, when you get done, just, flash the lights twice and somebody will probably tell me when they go by on their way through town, you'll be fine. I'll come back out about 11. You'll probably be done by then. All right, cool.
Wouldn't it be awesome, though, if you had a way, and you could even warn people, for 1 week, we're flipping the switch on cell phones nationwide. Nobody will have a cell phone that works for 1 week.
That'd be a magical week.
Could you imagine the chaos?
Yeah, I might be able to find all my cell phone chargers back that my kids have pilfered off.
I'd be in trouble. I'd actually have to drive to where I work.
I'll admit, cell phones are handy. I'd be lost without one, but it don't bother me on the flip side.
I would like to go back to bag phones.
Yeah.
So if you needed it, you had it within a short distance generally, but you weren't spending all day doing that.
Yeah, $4 a minute or whatever. We're not just looking to call and talk to people.
Yeah, we're not BSing for no reason,
I'd like it because then at some point, on some level, if you work, not necessarily at a desk or whatever, you can't get away from work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're always at work.
So that sometimes is.
Yeah, which, of course, I get zero cell service here where we live. I mean, you guys have seen that.
Lucky man.
So, yeah. So a lot of times on the weekends, I don't carry my phone. It'll lay on the counter or whatever. It's don't be no good to carry it. You can't do that with it. But it would blow your mind the amount of people that would not drive from here to the next town 15 miles away without a cell phone.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it don't bother. I mean, I love a cell phone. Don't get me wrong. They're handy as hell. I would be lost without one, but if push come to shove, I would function just fine without one.
I can still make it through the day.
Yeah.
My wife gets pissed all the times. I'll leave it lay in the garage or whatever, and she's like, "Well, I texted you 4 hours ago." And it's like, okay, I've been around our house the whole time.
Yeah.
Come out and find me.
Now, the flip side of that is my wife will give me hell. Like when I come in of an evening, I'll be TikTok or whatever. She's like, "That's all yours on that cell phone." I'm like, "Yeah, but that's like my TV." When my dad got home from work, he watched TV from 6 o'clock till 10 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not watching TV. That's my new TV. The whole rest of the day, I'm not just glued to my phone just 24/7.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
Who else is going to make discful gleaner videos?
exactly. I mean, I'm trying to carry the water for all these people.
Yeah,
I mean, that's hard work.
Somebody's got to carry that flag. Speaking of safety, when we were kids, my parents owned a business that was, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and you guys would probably agree, not exactly kid-friendly to be around. And that worked out well until my brother got himself kind of tied up in a piece of machinery. They were a little more watchful after that.
Yeah.
Things changed a bit after that, but it's neat to grow up around stuff like that. And we paid a little bit more attention than what kids do nowadays. They'll just walk up and stick their hand into something. And it's like we knew better back then for some reason.
Yeah. See, and I have to tell my wife a lot, and she doesn't do this because she's helicopter parenting. She's trying to be helpful. But I'm the type, I just tell the kids, you need to do this, and that's as much as I tell them. But she wants to tell them every step of the way, so you got to do that. And she wants to, I don't know if I should call her a micromanager, because I don't mean that disrespectfully or whatever, but I'm just not a micromanager.
Figure it out.
I need you to chop this wood. I don't give a shit if you use an axe. I don't care if you use a wood split. I don't care how you do it. But when I get home, that wood better be split. So you figure it out.
Yeah.
Where she wants to tell them, well, now you got to pull this out. You got to put gas in. You got to,
That's how you find a better way to do something.
Exactly.
And
it was funny because my wife was telling me here a while back, she had read this book about the U.S. government done these war games, and it was about micromanaging. And so basically you had the two teams, and so the team over here was all micromanaged got their ass kicked every time because nobody would make a decision.
Yeah.
It's because, A, I have to be told what to do, and B, if it's a spur-of-the-moment snap decision, I don't want to make the wrong one, so I just won't make one.
Yeah.
And they're just constantly reporting back. The guys over here who were just told, this is the objective, you got to get from point A to point B, will just kick the living shit out of them every time because when the snap decision come up, they're like, what are we going to do? We're going to do this. And away they went. And that's the way I roll in
Sometimes
business.
a quick wrong decision is better than 15 well-thought-out decisions that never happen.
Yep. Because I always come back to the fact that after I've showed you, in my brain, if I feel that you're confident enough or comfortable enough to do this, then I should be able to turn you loose. Because if I have to sit here and hold your hand, then I'll do it myself.
Yeah, exactly.
You're doing me zero good. By the time I sit here and hold your hand and explain it 9 times, I could have done it. So get out of the way. I don't need you.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
I try to let my youngest help me out in the garage some, but you can only take so much of that. He's only 5. And his attention span's pretty short. But
my dad had a pretty basic set of rules. Outside of that, he did not micromanage at all.
Yeah, my dad did.
He did kick a lot of ass afterwards if it wasn't done correctly. But I deserved those.
But I think you got to teach, especially kids, to think for yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
It's different if you're 30 years old and you still haven't figured it out. It's like, well, there ain't much hope for you.
Yeah.
But as a kid, put the chain on the bicycle. I don't care how you do it.
Yeah.
Guess what? If you take a pipe wrench and try to tighten all this shit and you screw the fucking lug nuts up on it, then you probably won't do that next time.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep your finger out from between the chain and sprocket. That's my tip. That's the only tip I'm giving you.
Yeah.
To me, when it's big ticket item that's expensive, I will take the time and show the kids. But if it's something that's minor like that, I'll let them screw it up.
I tore
Don't bother me in the least.
in my life.
Yep.
I've tore a lot of stuff up.
I was too scared to ask my dad to air up a tire on a bike. I mean, you just didn't do that.
No.
You didn't.
I didn't
Their
even ask him to take the
response
training
He
wheels.
just threw the fucking bike away. The horse can't fucking air the tires up. You don't need it. He'd throw it away.
If you're too stupid to work on it, you're too stupid to own it.
Yeah.
You know?
I took my training wheels off myself because I was scared to death to ask my dad.
Yep.
It was fine. I could ride without them.
You only fall so many times.
Well, I knew I could ride without them. I've been riding, you do that.
Teeter.
You figure out where you can center it up. I'm like, well, these things are just in the way. Like, I can't corner like I need to be able to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's changed.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it's for the better or the worse, I don't know. But
For the worse.
I'm not going to complain about my kids too. Are my kids perfect? No. Are my kids? And I guess social media probably skews that a little bit. I mean, if you used to ask people on TikTok, they would think Henry farms 1,000 acres single-handedly, and he doesn't. He's not even remotely close. They catch these glimpses, and I don't mean to put it on there to portray that. That's not what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids ain't much different. They play sports, and I got to get on their ass, and they're not just standing there at the door. Hey, what can we do for you next day? They're typical kids.
But when I was about my daughter's age, probably, I had a 250R.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was always pissed because I wasn't allowed to have something that fast.
You did get cheated bad on that deal.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Probably
I
for
was,
the better.
I was probably 14 or 15 when I got my 250R. Right in there.
8th grade.
Yeah.
Well, you had yours when my brother got his quad racer, right?
I had it before he got his quad racer.
He got that in 92
Yeah.
because it was a 92. That was the last year they made him.
Yeah, that's right. Now, I had a 250R before he got the quad racer.
Yep, and that Honda still could not run a 230 quad sport. Suzuki. Pile of shit.
Yeah. I really can't fathom turning my kids loose on a 250R at that age.
They're not as fast as you remember.
I wonder
They're
if
way
it's
faster than they have the reaction time or the skill level for, though, Brock.
Well, it's because they didn't start on a 203 with balloon tires.
That's true.
Take
I was
it back.
I was super stoked when I got a 200X. It had front suspension.
Yep.
Yeah, well, and rear. I guess our 200 did have front suspension, and that's using the term very loosely.
A half-inch of travel.
I remember when the golden ticket was if you had a big red.
Yep.
That if you could just get a big red, then we skipped those, and I had a 200X. My brother had a 250SX, which was like the
Little brother.
the pimp version of a big red,
Yeah.
and I got a 250X.
we had a Honda 3-wheeler our uncle gave us, and I was probably 10 years old. So what did they call these? These were the Honda. It was a Honda 200, but there was no S, no X, no nothing. It was just
That's what we had. It was just a straight 200.
Yep, there was no.
that was it.
Just in blue letters. There was
Honda
no
200.
So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they weren't too creative on the naming. It was just a Honda 200.
Because I always remember back in the day, somebody would be like, "So you got a 3-wheeler? Where you got?" I'm like, "Honda 200." Well, was it an S or an X? I'm like, "What? It's nothing. It's just a 200."
Yeah, just 200.
Balloon tire.
It was more the
S.
workhorse you would. I mean the
S was smaller.
The S was a little shorter coupled and had a front shocks on it. Junior had one of those. And then the X had a rear shock. And
X had a rear
clutch.
Well, so in true my dad fashion, bought it off my cousin. She'd blown the motor up in it. So we took the motor out of the 200 and put in the 200X. So I never had the 200X motor.
Okay. You got cheated.
I got cheated. Well, I didn't have it very long, even though that was a badass looking 3-wheeler.
I had a
I'd
neighbor
take one back tomorrow.
growing up that was a farmer. That he had a big red up until I was at least 17, 18 years old, had a big red 3-wheeler. As far as I know, he still may have it. Thing was in pristine condition.
Oh, I'm sure he probably does.
I mean,
Probably worth a mint by
yeah, and I mean, seriously, the thing, he just putted around. He wasn't like he used it as a workhorse. He just putted around on it. But he still had it when I was 18 years old, so that'd have been in 1998. He still had it.
Yeah.
But didn't have a scratch on it.
Yeah. Lean over, click it in reverse.
Yep. Had the rack on the front there, the little bitty rack.
Yeah, rack on the front, rack on the back.
Six-pack rack.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, good times.
My first one was a 125 Yamaha, no suspension. Then we got a 230 quad sport that my brother rode. He had suspension, so he went across the chisel pod field. Turns out the 125 can't hang with that with no suspension. It'll throw you off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I send you that TikTok video of that guy? He had a whole fleet.
Yes.
I mean, he must have had 20
Yeah.
3-wheelers and
probably
4.
more than that,
I mean,
yeah.
just all that's just in pristine condition. He might have fully restored them, but
Yeah. Yeah, it was beautiful. We ended up with a second 200 in there, and that's what my brother got rid of to get the 250SX. And then I had the 200X motor swapped, and then I got a 250X, which was the biggest piece of shit I ever owned.
Can confirm.
The funny part too for you young
it was an
kids.
87. That was a dog gear
On our three-wheeler, that's when all the gears were down. You didn't, like now you put your toe under it and pull up. Back then they was all down.
Yeah.
You wanted to get going faster. Nobody cared if you could slow down.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. That 250X, I got hurt on that thing more times than not. That 250R, I never wrecked it.
Yep.
I never got hurt once on that thing.
That X didn't have enough power to keep you from getting hurt.
Well,
It
exactly.
was pretty short coupled.
It was short coupled and didn't have enough power.
It wouldn't rev.
Yeah, it didn't rev up for shit. The first, so we bought it on our way to Missouri. We'd made a deal with this Honda dealer, and he met us on a Sunday morning. We picked it up on the way out there. So I go up this mountainside, hill deal or whatever, a couple of times. My dad's like, I know you just got it, but get on it. I'm like, bud, that's wide open. He's like, oh, bullshit. Tells my brother, get on that thing. My brother takes it up the mountain or up the hill. And he's like, that's wide open. Dad's like, well, that thing kind of sucks. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm riding though. The 250SX 3-wheeler was way faster, had way more power. That thing was a dog.
Reverse was awful.
I remember, yeah. It was about 1/10 of a mile an hour. I remember racing my brother. So he gets a 250R after he has his 3-wheeler. And I could run fourth gear. We had this roundy round track. And I could run fourth gear wide open. And the piece of shit wouldn't hack fifth. And he'd just get up next to me and just fan the throttle on that 250R and laugh at me and drive away from me. And in 4 to 6 laps, every time you blow a tire off the bead and go roll off in the weeds. Because you had to, you just had to have it pinned in fourth gear to try to hang with it. And that piece of shit would blow a tire every time and roll you off into the weeds. And you'd air it back up and go again.
That have a twist throttle on it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. That could have been part of the problem. Those are silly.
Yeah. I think, was that the one that we were on that racetrack in Missouri and I fell off and the throttle stuck and it took off? Yeah, it was. First day I got it.
Yeah.
Well, that might have been the 3-wheeler. I think it was a 4-wheeler, though. It took off. And my brother rode up next to it and hit the throttle and idled it down. I was chasing after it. I couldn't catch the damn thing, of course, because I'm on foot. I chucked my helmet out trying to hit it, and he rode over there. Of course, he had electric start. Boom. And he goes zipping over there and hits the throttle and shuts it down. But, yeah, that thing was a pile of shit. That's why I wrecked it at your woods that time. I was wearing a white cotton T-shirt, and when there was these hills you would jump, and we'd start to clear at the road. As far away from it as we could physically go. And I was wide open, hammer down on this deal, and it was kind of unlevel there. And I come down on one front tire, rolled it end over end a few times. I remember thinking, oh, shit, this is going to hurt as I was coming over the top. I just got that brand new Troy Lee helmet.
Yeah.
VX4, I think.
Probably something
anyway,
like that.
VX4, VX5. I couldn't afford graphics on it, so it was plain white. But it was the top of the line, the best helmet. Like if you valued your brain, this was the helmet to have at the time. And I went in over, when I got done, I was wearing the sleeves and the collar. The whole shirt was gone. Whole shirt was gone because I always slept on my back prior to that. But it had skinned my back up so bad and my chest that I had to sleep on my side. And then my chest healed first so I could start sleeping on my chest some. My dad was not happy because at that time, that wasn't my 4-wheeler. I had sold it to him.
Yep.
My 250R had blown up.
Yep.
That piece of shit. If you ran it wide open in 6th gear down the road, it'd blow up every time. Here, you could take it out to Missouri, and it was the fastest one out there. You bring it back here, and I burned it down twice riding down the road.
Really?
If you took 6th gear,
wouldn't even get wide open.
In a mile, it wouldn't even widen out, and it'd burn a hole through the piston like that every time.
I'll be damned.
So I just quit doing that. And I had a guy professionally rejet it, like a guy that was supposed to know his shit. After he overhauled it, he rejetted or whatever, and I never did test the theory after that. I never did run it wide open down the road after that. But
could you imagine what your wife would say if your son come home with nothing but the collar and the sleeves on his shirt?
I wasn't even 16.
And road rash.
I wasn't 16 because I had hauled it out there in an old pickup truck of ours.
That 2-wheel drive.
A 2-wheel drive piece of shit, 88 Ford. And I had to haul it back. And I come wheeling into the house, and I am tore to shit. My dad was not happy. I tore his 4-wheeler up. I'm clearly cut up from front to back, top to bottom. I don't even think I'd asked if I could go.
He was pretty less than impressed.
He was not happy about that whole situation. Then I had to fix his damn 4-wheeler. Yeah.
Moral of the story for you Honda lovers out there is I had an 88 Suzuki Quad Sport, and it outlasted all those pieces of shit Hondas that he's talking about.
No. Now, that Quad Sport was quite possibly the most durable. So at some point in time, Brock and I end up at the woods, and we only had your four-wheeler.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know why. I think your mom was having something, and I randomly showed up.
Hard to say.
And in any event,
we were like 16 or 17.
So it's me and Brock both on this 230 Quad Sport, and we're doing the same thing. We're starting at the road. We're driving down this half-mile lane. We're jumping these hills, doubling these hills or whatever, and we would ride it till it heat seized. Then we'd stop. We'd take a water break.
What is it with him pushing things till the heat seizes and then just stop, have a smoke?
Because you can't go any further.
I have the absolute best luck getting everything out of an engine. All of it.
So we do this for hours, literally like 4 hours straight probably. And at the end of the day, we kind of realized that there's not a lot holding this four-wheeler together. Like, this frame's broken a couple of spots. The swing arm's held on by a zip tie. Like, man, we should probably stop doing this at this point. But
it was like 6 months later I went to sell that or trade it in. And this thing, when Dad got it, was pristine.
It was beautiful.
Brand new. Good-looking rig. And inside 4 years, I got $201 out of it trading it in. I'll never forget, we traded it in at the local Suzuki shop. I'd got a Polaris at this point or whatever, but the guy's like, there's just really not much left good on this. And he knew us pretty well. I mean, he knew. And he's like, yeah, it's kind of missing. I'm not sure. And I'm like, oh, it needs a spark plug. It gets aluminum on that. And he's like, what? And I'm like, oh, it's done that for a year. Well, later on in life, I ended up working for the guy, and he was telling me, like, one of his mechanics was in awe when they took that thing apart. Part of one of the valves was chipped and gone. He's like, I'm not sure how this thing operated.
Yeah.
One of the rings was completely gone. And it did burn a lot of oil.
It did burn a fair amount. We would put up fresh oil in it.
Yeah.
While we took our water break, and then we'd go again.
You had about an hour, and you were burning a quart of oil.
Now, you had a 92 250X, which ran good. That thing was 10 times faster
91,
than my 91. 10 times faster than my 87.
Yeah.
87 was a shit year.
Okay, folks, I do got to make an interruption. We are blessed with the presence of Drunky the Clown.
I knew you were going to do that.
She's back.
Yep. Come on, folks, give it up. She sleeps 10 feet away.
Yeah.
I just said I was just here for listening purposes only.
As I put on the headphones and pull the mic in closer. I got nothing to say.
With not one, but two drinks. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
1.5.
Okay.
1.5.
Okay. Work on that.
Statistics.
And I said it perfectly.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So fill our listeners in on, you now have your own podcast.
I do, yes. I'm joined by Nick's wife, the lovely Kelly McCormick, the Unfiltered Farm Wives podcast.
Okay.
So
where can we find that at?
Everywhere. Google, Spotify.
95.7 WCRC.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, you can. In Cincinnati.
No, that's WKRP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Dang it.
95.7 is Effingham Radio.
Yeah.
WCRC.
No. WKRP. That's it.
So did you know, we're going to do a little trivia here. Did you know that the
No.
Mississippi River is the cutoff?
It's actually not the longest river in the U.S. Did you know that?
Right, the Missouri is.
Yes.
So the Mississippi River is the cutoff. Every radio station east of the Mississippi starts with the letters W. WCRC, WMCI, whatever. Everything west of the Mississippi starts with K. KMOX out of St. Louis, all that shit. So the Mississippi River, east of there starts with a W, which you would think west of there would start with a W, but it don't. East of the Mississippi River starts with a W. West of the Mississippi starts with a K.
I did not know that. And why is that?
That's just the way they split it up.
Yeah.
I don't know, Margo.
There has to be some kind of logic to that, though.
Google told me.
Like, I didn't know that, but
You can research it later. There's
Yeah.
probably a documentary.
I will actually. And you know what? I will probably watch that. I will 100% watch that documentary. I'm going to be like, why are the radio stations the way that they are?
Just the way
That's
they did it.
interesting.
Yep. Sure enough. Moving along.
Yeah, move along.
Paul Pelosi was assaulted with a hammer today.
Who?
Nancy Pelosi's husband.
So are we going to have a 3-day waiting period on hammers?
That's what I'm wondering. Thank God this clown didn't use a gun.
Yeah.
Okay, time out. What exactly happened with the assault?
I don't know. I ain't followed it. Don't know. Don't care.
Well, you can't throw out a teaser like that and
actually
then
you
not
can.
give me details.
You can.
Okay, give me details.
I rate all politicians in the same category as child molesters. They're all worthless. I don't follow any of it. I don't care. I don't vote. I don't care. I could care.
No,
less.
and I agree with all of that, but I still want to know what happened with the assault.
Did he make it?
What's that?
Did he make it?
I don't know.
Of course he did.
Well, I mean, are you saying did he die?
Yeah.
No, yeah, he's fine. I don't know that he's fine, but he didn't die.
Well, it wasn't much of an assault then.
So it was unsuccessful, is what we're saying right now.
Just proof that had he been well armed in his home, he could have prevented that.
Truthfully, if I lived with Nancy, I would beat myself with a hammer too.
No doubt.
So
It's
that's
probably
what I think.
self-inflicted.
I think the real story.
Did he ever think about putting up a sign that said no hammers?
Exactly.
That could have prevented this whole deal.
I agree.
Carpenter free zone.
Hammer free zone.
Yeah.
Hey, when you go outside tomorrow, remember, helmet on.
Yes. Yeah. So, yep, that's all I know.
Yeah.
God. So, Nick, you said you had details. Tell us the
No, I didn't say I had details.
Oh, I thought you did have details.
No.
Like,
Are you drunk?
was it-
No, he didn't have details.
No,
What are you
was it
talking about?
one person? Was it two people?
I
Did
don't
he
know.
did
I'm
he
gonna
assault
assume-
himself with a hammer? I'm going to
I'm
assume he
gonna-
assaulted himself. With a
Well, no
hammer.
doubt. If I was
I mean,
married
let's
to
be
her,
honest.
Odds
He
are
probably-
you can go upstairs right now and turn on the TV, and it's going to be all over the news.
Oh my gosh! Don't even get me started on the
It
news.
was probably a Girl Scout trying to sell cookies and kicked his ass. That's my guess.
Up top Girl Scout.
More than likely, the doctor stopped by to test his reflexes, and he was assaulted with a hammer.
Or a small child dressed as a builder for Halloween with a plastic
Bob the
hammer.
Builder got him down.
Which I still say that fucker should have been called Robert the Remodeler. He didn't build shit. And he hired all illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
That whole fucking cartoon was a sham.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Robert the Remodeler. He didn't fucking build nothing. The guy was terrible. He was a typical engineer. He couldn't fucking build shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have
that's
no
just-
comment. I have no comment.
That's like Thomas the Train. That guy couldn't follow directions for shit.
Exactly.
I used to get so mad watching that show
Yeah.
with my son. I'm like, why are we watching this dipshit? This guy can't follow simple
Yeah.
instruction. He screws it up every episode.
Yeah.
He's not the hero in this deal.
Exactly. Percy's always feeling down on himself. It's like, well, you dumb fuck, follow directions.
Yeah.
You're on a track. There's not a whole lot of directions you can go here, but
Yeah.
you can't fucking pull it off with this
You can't-
equipment.
yeah,
Stop.
exactly.
The fact that you know the other trains' names is what's cracking me up.
Well,
You knew it
Did
was
you watch
Percy.
the old one where George Carlin was the
Oh, that was the best one.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was the best one.
Yep.
I love the guy on TikToks. Have you seen the ones where he does the redo? So he shows the original clips, but he's just screaming and yelling, "You stupid fuck!" I mean, just going off. It's great.
Quality television.
Oh,
Yep.
what our kids need is some Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
That's what
Oh
they
my
need.
I've been on the Family Guy kick lately.
Yeah.
On Hulu.
Clips. I never watched Family Guy, but I like the clips.
Family Guy.
You've never watched Family Guy? Seriously?
I didn't really watch anime.
Every night
shows at that age.
she's like, "I hate this show," so I turn it on, and then she laughs hysterically and says, "This is the dumbest show I've ever seen." And she's laughing hysterically.
Yeah. Way to go, Carolyn.
Actually, the best part is I'm like dying laughing over all the jokes, and like I look over at him, and he's like completely passed out sleeping, and I'm like, "Dang it, you just missed the best joke in the entire world."
You
Oh,
would
boy.
love Family Guy.
You would love
I
it.
love the clips. I
No,
never,
you
I
need
never,
to
I
watch
never
it.
watched it when it was on.
I didn't either, and then we got it on Hulu, and I'm like, "Yeah,
It's one of those shows. It's highly, highly offensive,
Nah,
but in
to
the
me.
funniest way possible.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
the best clip from there ever was when Stewie and Brian were sitting down eating Cool Whip. And he's
Cool
like,
Whip.
"Give me some Cool Whip, Brian." I say that every time my wife gets Cool Whip out. I'm like, "You got some Cool Whip there, honey?" Or, man, she gets mad.
Ooh, piece of candy.
when they're on
Ooh, piece
the
of candy.
two-way radios, and he keeps saying over, and I forget how that goes. But the whole it's like the Abbott and Costello who's on first, but it's on radios.
Get a whole
Over.
button down. Over.
The best thing about the Family Guy is like he takes his jokes too far, and then he takes them like 10 feet further. You
Yep.
know, so like he does this whole clip where he's setting out candy or whatever, and he's like, "Ooh, piece of candy, ooh, piece," and it goes on for like 10 minutes, and you're like, "Okay, we get it. It's funny."
I still
And then
remember the one where Peter had the stroke, and he's going to drive
Oh,
himself to the
gosh.
doctor, and he shuts his hand in the car door. He's driving down the road, his hands dangling out the car.
Have you seen any of them with, "Say, you want to come next door?"
Oh yes,
Herbert the pervert.
yes. Herbert the pervert. Yes.
What a show.
It is. You would love it.
It's quality
I like the
television.
clips. I never watched the show.
Is The Simpsons like still on like new?
No.
I think
Simpsons?
No,
No, I don't.
I was
I
thinking
thought
they
it
still
ended.
were.
I thought it was.
Really?
Yeah,
I need to Google.
I mean, I was literally in probably like third grade, so
Yeah.
I'm going to say around
Yeah.
1990-ish, roughly.
I
When that came
remember.
out?
I remember, and you may remember, like that was a big no-go at school. They didn't want you talking about the
Nope.
Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
That was
He
blasphemy.
was the
was
first
very
one to
taboo.
ever cuss on a cartoon. I'm
Yeah.
Bart
Yep.
Simpson. Who the hell are
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
And that was like over the top.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
God, shut this
Yeah.
off.
Never aged.
Yeah. No, you. If you watch The Simpsons, like.
Family Guy makes The
That was
Simpsons
bad
look
guy.
like
Yeah.
nothing.
Oh yeah.
And actually,
And
I
then
don't.
some.
I honestly don't know that I have ever watched one single episode of The Simpsons. I don't think I have. I've never watched it.
Did you ever watch South Park?
Never did. Nope. Never watched South Park
The
either.
early ones are good. The later ones, the drugs got better. Is all I'm gonna say. Like, when it started out, it was funny pothead humor, but the later on it got pretty twisted, and they were on some stuff that took
So
them a
like
little
some
farther.
dark humor, or
Yeah, just weird, like out there.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a single episode of South Park.
I
ever.
want to say I've seen like one or two, and
So there's one called Imagination Land. It's a trilogy thing. So real quick, when Al Gore runs around going whoosh, talking about global warming like he's flying around with a cape, and there's a creature called Man Bear Pig, and it's got a lot of spoofs in it, but it is
you already lost me. I'm sorry.
if you watch the Imagination Land trilogy, or the first one I think was Bigger, Longer, and Uncut was the name of the movie.
I've seen very few of them. I mean,
It's
yeah.
it's
the
pretty
clips
funny.
are better than the whole episodes. But
Yeah. The early stuff's better than the later.
I can assure you, if you watch a full episode of Family Guy, you're gonna
Family
be
Guy-
entertained from
yeah,
beginning to end.
it's
and
just
it's one
enough.
of those where when you watch it, like I laugh and I feel bad about laughing. I'm like, I should not be laughing about that, but it was really
But
funny.
you do.
I
Yeah.
do.
When Joe gets ran over by a car,
I do.
he's
I do.
already paralyzed.
Yeah.
Quagmire's the
I did
greatest.
see
Oh,
a
my
clip
God.
on that the other day. They were like,
Quagmire.
it was some genie type thing or whatever where they had wishes, and he was still paralyzed in every situation. It's like, why do you get to do all this stuff and I'm still paralyzed? In every dream, I end up. Yeah.
Have you seen the clip with Quagmire where he's in, a strip club or whatever, and there's these two dancers that look like him really close, and he's like, I've never been here before or something, and one of them goes giggity, and he's like, oh, we got to go.
No.
The funniest thing I ever seen Quagmire do, and I don't remember what the setup was into this joke, but it flashes over and he's on the floor in Peter and Lois's house, and he's like pushing the carpet like up to the wall, and he said, boy, I got to admit, Lois, when you told me you needed your carpet stretched, this ain't what I had in mind.
I should not laugh at that.
But you did. It's just like a real
Dang
episode.
it, I should not have laughed at that.
Oh.
Yep.
Got to the one where Meg turns 18. She's just trying to get somebody to jump on her.
I don't think I have.
That's a good one.
That's
You'll like that.
one of the most baffling things for me about that whole episode. The whole show is that's Mila Kunis.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get over that. I cannot. Because Meg is the exact opposite of Mila Kunis.
Yeah.
I know, what's his name? The guy that does that show. He does just
Seth
about,
MacFarlane.
yeah, does just about all the voices.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but just
Yeah.
about.
I think he's most of them, other than Mila's on there, and I can't remember who does the women's voices.
I'm trying to think. Like, the mayor or somebody different.
Adam West.
Yes.
He had
And
Rush
then-
Limbaugh on the other night. I mean, it was actually Rush on there in the cartoon.
And they have a lot of celebrity guest speakers and stuff like that. I'm trying to think who else.
Does anybody remember Celebrity Deathmatch
Oh, yeah.
back in the day?
That I don't.
That I
You,
do.
you never saw Celebrity Deathmatch? It was on MTV,
I
which
think
we didn't
so.
have, but I remember seeing it in later years. So it was like cartoon characters, and they would get in a boxing ring and fight, and it was
To the death.
Yeah, to the death, and it was commentary on the side, of course, but yeah.
Isn't it funny how that stuff changes? So, like, we'll have Dish TV for like 2 years, then we're like, yeah, fuck it, get rid of it. And then 2 years later, we'll get it again. But, like, CMT is anything but country music television.
Absolutely.
It's on from like, what, 6:30 to 7 in the morning. They'll play a music video or two, and then it's whatever.
So I remember whenever I was pregnant with Cora, which was 2000.
Well,
No, right after I had Cora, 2012, they would still play music videos, but it was only for like 3 hours from like 3 a.m. to 6 a.m.
I mean, MTV, do they play any music?
But
it was the ridiculousness channel last
and
time.
now
That
it's
was
all
they
like
played.
reality shows.
Yeah.
And like they will maybe do country
they-
music videos for an hour and a half.
And they
That's it.
started MTV2 because it was going to be music then. And it's like, why don't you make the MTV2, the shows and keep the music?
But like Discovery and all that, 20 years ago, the Learning Channel, you learned something. It wasn't Honey Boo Boo and fucking Pawn Stars or whatever.
Although we did get addicted on that for a while.
Do you remember back in the day, and this is how my parents punished me in an inadvertent way, I'm sure it was CMT, was like in the evenings from like 5 to 7. They were in this bar line dancing all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
If I had a nickel for every hour I had to watch that.
I would like you to know I learned a few line dances that way.
Did you? It was paying off now.
Do you remember back in the day when cable was, which we never had cable, but if we'd go to family's house or whatever, they had TNN, which was better than CMT almost. They played
They always did
better
like
music.
action. No, TNN. I thought TNN was like action.
That's
movies.
TNT.
Okay,
TNN
that's what I'm
was
thinking of.
was it the Nashville network or the Tennessee Nashville network? I forget which
One
they
or
called
the
it.
other, but they had...
It was CMT.
And they had good motorsport stuff on that, too, didn't they? They have monster trucks and shit on that
Oh, I
all
think
the
they
time?
did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember when my grandparents got the Dish Network for the first time, like in early 2000s. So their kids just gave it to them to pay. They paid for it for the year. My grandpa fell in love with the RFD channel.
Oh, I know.
heck
That
yeah.
was they're like,
Bet he
there's
did.
hee-haws on here. I don't know if they knew it was reruns or not. Didn't matter. They thought it was the greatest
Does
thing
I
in
tell
the
you
not
what,
world.
matter.
I watched Hee Haw here probably a year ago. That was actually a good show. If you go back and
Heck
watch
yeah,
it
it
now.
was.
Pretty risque.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Some
a lot of
the
good
shows
music.
where they would have musical talent on. I forget the name of them. Like the Dick Van Dyke Show was a good show, and Carol Burnett stuff was good.
Oh,
They
man.
always called that like the variety shows.
Yeah.
So they always had a little bit of everything on.
When you threw Tim Conway on the Carol Burnett show, Tim Conway, that guy was a fucking genius. He was good.
It's like watching Saturday Night Live now. I couldn't stomach an episode, but you go back to the 70s, 80s,
Oh my
90s.
gosh.
It was the greatest thing in the world.
Yep.
It's got so far out there now that I tried to watch it the other day. I'm like, I just can't do it. I can't
Every
do it.
now and then you'll catch a good clip,
a clip
something
of it,
funny.
yeah.
But yeah, like
It's not worth
back
watching the
when
whole
I'm
hour.
trying to think who it was.
About Farley and Sandler in
Yep.
their prime,
Yeah.
Yep. Oh my
The
god.
original
But
crew was Chevy Chase. and-
I never, ever watched David Letterman. I haven't watched
No.
3 minutes of that guy my whole life. I was always Carson and Leno.
Yep.
And the part that I liked about all them guys was you never knew which way they swung politically. They gave it out equally, both directions.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There was never a bias.
Yeah.
And it was just an all-around good show. Now you got Fallon and them guys, and they'll try to do the jokes both ways, but then the
They
next
don't
guest that
even
they have
try
on,
to do the jokes both
then
ways.
you can just immediately tell which way they're swinging. And it just ruins it. They just
They're not looking to have Andrew Tate on for a debate anytime soon.
They're just
Here's
they're just
what
pushing
I
an
loved.
agenda.
So,
Yeah.
like when Johnny Carson had it, he was interviewing your everyday person.
Yep.
Whereas now it's all these celebrities and musicians.
Carson
and
was
whatever.
good. Johnny was good.
Carson, he's like, oh, here's this farmer who's been he's 110 years old. I'm gonna drag him on, and I don't know. It was just good. And now you just get these celebrities,
And even
they're-
Jay Leno was good. He probably had more of the famous people type.
But he
But he
always
kept it interesting.
did his jokes.
His jokes were
both
good.
ways, 100%. Like
He's a down to earth guy too.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember the Arsenio Hall show?
Oh yeah.
oh, I do, I do.
The roof is on fire.
There's
Yeah.
been 100 of them guys come and go though. Them late night shows.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Does
You guys
anybody
are-
remember VH1 Stand Up Spotlight?
Yep.
I do.
I remember
don't.
Bill Engvall was on there way back when Rosie O'Donnell wasn't the size of a Mack truck. She was the host way back. And Bill Engvall was doing the here's your sign bit before anybody knew what it was. And I had seen several of those or whatever. and you whip that slogan out and people look at you like you're a cross-eyed, and then like 10 years later it becomes popular and everything has a here's your sign thing on it, you know. Yeah.
How about before cable TV? Friday night videos.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
No.
That was on regular TV.
Oh, my gosh. You don't remember Friday night videos?
And it didn't come on till probably midnight. And it might have only been on for an hour,
we
but
recorded. No, it was longer than that.
it was basically MTV before MTV was, it was just
So,
music
like,
videos.
imagine Boyz II Men.
ABC, BBD, East Coast Family.
And they would just do their music videos
Okay.
all night long. And it was, like you said, I thought, God, I want to say it started at like 10 p.m.
No, it wasn't that early. Because you had all your late night shows and stuff.
Because, we always recorded it, but.
Do you guys remember the Man Show?
Yeah.
Kimmel.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Before he was a candy ass.
Yeah.
Him and Adam Carolla.
Yeah.
Women
And
on
that actually
trampolines.
wasn't a half bad show. I mean, they kept it funny.
They always ended with girls jumping on trampolines. How much better does it get?
And, and truthfully, that's what's
How
sad
much
is
sexist can you get?
they had to inject politics, or everybody that thought they was famous had to take a political stance, and it ruined all that stuff.
I just like the Man Show boy would go out on the beach.
Yeah.
That was a great stuff. And then the old guy at the end, the Ziggy Zoggy guy, that just downed 2 pints instantly.
But that's why I have always kept politics to a very minimum on my TikTok. I'm not saying I've never talked about it. I clearly have. But, nobody gives a shit what I think. And why should they? Because I don't care what anybody else thinks. TikTok is the Wild West for me. We're going there to screw around and just piss people off. You're wanting to, because you just hear politics 24/7 and you're tired of it. So I'm going to go to TikTok and get something different. And
I honestly think, though, that's 100% what's wrong with every single thing they try to do. SNL, any of the talk shows, they try to inject politics and all that.
Right.
People are sick to death of hearing
They don't
about
wanna hear
that.
about it.
They just want to laugh at a good joke.
But that's finally,
that's
too,
all they
though,
want to do.
why I kind of wigged out there, and that's been several months ago on TikTok, about the whole cancel culture that, Garth Brooks, he played maybe the inaugural celebration or whatever, and, he swings a little different than I do, but so if I say, well, I'm never listening to Garth Brooks again, well, now I'm part of the cancel culture, right? I didn't like what he said over here. I think he's got phenomenal music. As a person, he's a little out there. He's downright weird, in my opinion, but he's got phenomenal music.
His older music, especially.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll listen to it to this day, and I'll tell that to anybody.
It's hard to beat Baton Rouge.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day,
Friends in low places.
You just got to stop the cancel culture. Okay, fine. If he wants to be a liberal or whatever, whichever side, just forget it and move on. Just try to enjoy your
thing
day.
is,
Big deal.
I can appreciate what you do musically and not agree what you do politically. I can be like, you really produced this great song and I love it.
$100 says
but
tomorrow.
I'm not going to, if you come up to me tomorrow and be like, I support this and I want you to give me money for that. No, I'm not going to do that, but I'm still going to listen to
$100 says tomorrow, if I posted a video on TikTok saying that I liked Garth Brooks, thought his music was great, there would be 5 to 10 comments of, fuck him, he played at Biden's inaugural deal. The same people that say, we got to stop cancel culture and that's bullshit, are now canceling Garth Brooks because he played at Biden. And I just think that's stupid.
Well, and that's my thing. Everybody
Just
always wants
stop.
to be like, oh, it's a liberal thing. They always want to be cancel this, cancel that. It's exactly the same on the
You're doing the
right.
same thing. So
Exactly the same.
Adults can't sit in a room and discuss things without somebody getting pissed off and won't believe.
Yeah.
They can't just agree to disagree.
All right, to hell with you guys. There you go.
yeah.
Bye, Nick. See you later. Get out. We're done.
You're done.
But if you honestly
done.
stopped and thought about
You're done.
every person that you didn't agree with politically, then you can't watch TV, you can't listen to me. I mean,
You can't do anything.
anything.
Literally, you can't do anything.
And that's where I'm at in my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Nick takes this all to heart, and he's like, I'm done with everything. I'm done.
I can't participate in any of it anymore. That's why I don't turn on the radio anymore. I don't turn on the TV.
Which I don't
watch
either.
the news.
I went the entire fall and didn't listen to nothing.
I didn't. I listened to some stuff that I had specifically picked out on my phone. Unfiltered Farm Wives.
Good
Brian
call.
and Jessica.
Good call.
But I love their podcast, but it gets too political. Like I used to be all into the Rush Limbaugh, and I would listen to all that stuff that's sitting in there. I'm to the point. I don't care.
Yep.
I know liberals are dipshits. I don't need to hear about them. I don't care what they're doing. If they want their kid to shit in a litter box at school.
That's all fake, by the way. That's not real.
Yeah, sure thing. And
we as conservatives are just making that up.
No, we're not. And
Nope.
I just can't deal with it anymore.
And honest to God truth, because, I mean, you and I used to talk about this all the time. I mean, we both did. Listen to Rush Limbaugh, and then from there you went to the next show, to the next, and that's all you, and you were in a fucking bad mood all day long.
Yeah. Yep. Like Rush made it lighthearted enough. He never put me in a bad mood, but the rest of them kind of like.
If I listen to 5 minutes of Glenn Beck, I am literally ready to shoot myself.
Yeah.
It's like, it's over, guys.
Yeah.
I'm
done. I'm done.
I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Political correctness has killed the world. It's
has.
like I tell you time and time again, I refuse to go to meetings at this point for anything. I'll do the work. Tell me where you want me to be, but I don't go to meetings because we've got so politically correct in the world. If you come up with a stupid idea and I tell you, Tony, that's the dumbest freaking thing I've ever heard in my life, we're not doing it that way, then all of a sudden you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do it this stupid way because nobody wants to hurt your feelings.
Right.
And then it's an epic fail, even though 99% of the room knew it was a stupid-ass idea to begin with. And I'm just to the point, if I can't tell you it's dumb without you getting mad about it, and I'll even do it in a nice way, Tony.
I disagree
I strongly disagree with the way you'd like to screw us up on this. I just can't deal with it anymore.
But it's even got that bad in everyday grammar.
Absolutely.
And people, and it still baffles me, and I probably shouldn't even say this, but people, and I still get messages to this day on TikTok, is that, hey, I'm new to TikTok, and I really want to grow my page, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. And I just quit replying to these people. You know what the one thing people have not figured out on TikTok that me and Mike Sharp figured out a long fucking time ago?
Don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah.
That.
But it just
absolutely
baffles me how these people, I'm still old school, so, and it goes back to my tractor being fully restored.
Yeah.
To me, that's a restored tractor.
Yeah,
I don't care what anybody, if you were having an auction tomorrow,
Yep.
you're going to say, boys, looky right here, we got us a restored John Deere 4010. And to me, it truly is a restored tractor. I don't have to go through and change every fucking knob, every bolt, every screw to make that a fully restored tractor. Sure, are you going to find that the plastic knobs on the hydraulic levers weren't changed? Okay, fine. Big fucking deal. But that's still a restored tractor. And so what I'm getting at is the grammar.
Yeah.
Even, you can't say anything without somebody have to jump in to correct you.
Oh, absolutely.
It's this way.
It's 100% the political correctness.
That's what I mean. It's like, dude, I'm 10 steps ahead of you. And it just...
But no, you need to be on that page.
But that's what me and Mike Sharp figured out a long time ago. All you got to do when you go to TikTok or wherever them pages are, because what's social media about? Generating traffic, right? They don't like lurkers. Social media, if we were all lurkers that wanted to watch everybody else, there wouldn't be no social media. Yep. They want people interacting, sharing, talking.
Yeah, Brock.
So...
Hey, man.
Quit being a lurker.
All it
Not
takes,
calling you out, but
I'm kind of creepy.
Lurker.
all it takes on social media, if you want to be successful, if you're listening right now, I'm telling you right now, here's 3 tidbits I'm going to give you. A, you got to say, and I'm just going to use this for an example. If I said, boys, this is my 1964 John Deere 4010. It's this, and this, and I just never missed a beat and went on. I'm going to have 20 fucking people that comment and say, they didn't make them in 1964. Goddamn. And they're going to just go off the fucking rails. And all that does is generates traffic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes your video go even farther.
Purposely say things wrong.
Right. 2, you got to be basically offensive.
Yeah.
If you're going to go out and play the same Colt Ford song, This Is How We Roll, and show your goddamn 2188 shelling corn, I'm scrolling by that video so fast, my screen almost catches on fire because I'm sick of hearing that song.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
I like the
It's
ones
not necessarily that you have to be offensive. You just have to be firm in what you think and what you believe.
No,
you can't be
because-
wishy-washy.
No,
There's no
you have to be
wishy-washy.
offensive because this half of the aisle agrees with it, so I got to share this with my buddy. Dude, you got to fucking check this guy out. This half doesn't agree with it. They got to share it with their buddy and say, look at this fucking asshole. And then they're back here contemplating a reply that they're going to say. And so you split it right down the middle, so you're getting it from all sides.
Hey, according to that college professor, you were the epitome of how not to act on social media.
Exactly.
You're done.
Yeah, but you got to do shit like that.
Maybe you should stop your
And basically, if you're not going to show either somebody getting hurt or whatever, that it's a waste of time. Like these people that won't show their face, they'll make all these TikToks, And
People watch NASCAR for the wrecks, Tony. It's the same way on social media. They want to see the train wreck.
Yep.
So the thing is, though, like when you look at those videos that have these 34 million views or whatever, it's a one-off thing. Like,
right, but look at my collective views.
I'm not disputing that. No, but I'm just saying, like, you have those people on TikTok creating who have these one-off views, whatever, but then you have people like you who are highly offensive, but you're very...
I find him to be pleasant and personable.
I don't. But you're very definitive in your beliefs. And so people know that, and that's why people keep coming back to you. So if you want to have a $34 million or 34 million viewed video, do something stupid. But if you want to create a following...
Did you ever watch the movie Private Parts with Howard Stern?
Yes.
It's a good movie.
I have watched it.
And so you remember...
I literally watched it with you.
And so as they're going through, and he keeps getting more and more offensive, and the ratings just keep going up, up, and up, and they keep pulling all these people, and they're like, why do you keep watching this if it's so offensive, or listening to this if it's so offensive? And they say, because we want to know what he's going to say next.
Yeah.
And it's just the same way on TikTok.
Next.
Every fucking gleaner guy on TikTok hates me with a passion, but they're going to watch the next video just so they can try to find a rebuttal, which they never can. But
well, they got plenty of time while they're driving back and forth to the parts store.
Yeah.
So.
They're cheaper to maintain.
Well, no doubt.
I mean, you know.
I mean, they've got a lot of time between changing those rotors, so...
You'll know you've made it the first time you go live and take a caller and they ask you, you get told to put the speaker down.
Yeah.
No, I will agree. Like, there's everybody out there who's like, what can I do to go viral? Well, there's a lot of things you can do.
You don't have to go viral. You just got to be consistent.
That's exactly my thing. Do you want to go viral or do you want to create a following?
I'm dead serious. If I hear that fucking Colt Ford song one more time, This Is How We Roll, I'm going to shoot myself.
I want you to know I'm going to Google that tonight and play that to you as you're going.
But you want to know what the funny part is I can even do this before this podcast airs. I could make a TikTok tomorrow saying I absolutely fucking hate that song. I am beyond sick of it, and I will get tagged in 400,000 videos
with Colt Ford
with that song. But what does that do? It generates traffic, which in turn creates followers, which in turn blows your page up. And people cannot figure this out. It is fucking simple. Mike Sharp can get banned one day and have 100,000 followers the next.
So you're just playing with people, is what you're
That's
doing.
all we're doing.
That's all you're doing.
Do you think I care what
You're
anybody...
just playing with people's emotions.
Do you think I care if
damage.
Joe Blow down the road runs a gleaner? I could care less. It ain't my operation. I don't care I don't care if you pick up my hand. I could care less. But as long as you fuel that fire...
If everybody runs what Tony wants, it'll drive the price up.
Yeah.
Those 15 gleaner guys are keeping the price of his combine down.
Whistling Diesel smashes a 1206 and people are up in arms. I'm like, hey, if I owned one, the price just went up because there's one less on the market now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh. The people he has in his comments, like... I guarantee you he gets a death threat.
If he would smash a 40-20 or a 60-30, that would take it over. The Deere guys thought the 1206 was funny. The IH guys were pretty pissed about it. But I'm telling you, you smash a restored 40-20 or a restored 60-30, it's over.
So if he came up to you tomorrow and was like, I want to smash your 40-10, what would you say?
No, he's not getting it.
For 100,000?
I don't think he would.
$1 million. If he said, I'm going to give you $1 million and I'm going to smash that 40-10, what would you do?
He pulls out a briefcase with $1 million.
Bull, you would do it.
A flat square 320.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to do it for $1 million. I'm going to do it for $1 million.
That tractor ain't worth 20,000, but he's not getting it for 100. $1 million?
$1 million? Seriously?
I just agreed to it. What are you bitching about?
I thought you were like disagreeing. I was like, no.
No shit.
No.
What she's saying is that German chocolate cake was worth $1 million.
Yeah.
If somebody offers us that, we're taking it.
Everything's got a price, but he ain't getting it for 100. I
100,000.
He would not get it for 100,000.
200. I hear 2, 3, 33.
What are you trying to do? You're killing him here. What are you trying to do?
I'm just seeing what his
price
is. I'm just seeing what his price is so I can see how I can drive it up.
But see, here's the part that kills me is I can take this tractor that you think, well, goddamn, I would do it for that. But you can go in town to all these stupid fucking historical houses that should have been burnt down by the mob, and we got to throw $5 million at them because it's a historical site that nobody's ever going to go to, but we got to maintain it and fucking pay taxes.
Well, Abraham Lincoln once walked through
I don't
that
give a fuck
doorway.
if Abraham Lincoln debated there or not. I could care less. Big fucking deal. I debated with people everywhere.
But you're not Abraham Lincoln.
He wasn't that good of a president.
True story.
True story, actually. True story. I'm in agreement with them.
They always go through that stats. He lost this race and he lost that race. I'm like, for the love of God, clearly half the people thought he sucked even his whole political career.
Yeah.
Wasn't a very good debater.
It's another story for another time. But
Yeah.
anyway.
You guys should do actually a whole podcast about the presidents, their beliefs, and what you guys.
Do you know what Abraham Lincoln said right before he went to that play?
I shouldn't have went to this play.
I want to go see that play like I needed another fucking hole in my head.
Oh,
True story. Direct quote. It's in the books.
knee slapper.
Got both.
Knee slapper.
Once again, an anti-gun libtard jumps off the stage with a little flair and panache. Have you ever seen In the Line of Fire? But
No,
you never seen that with Clint Eastwood?
no, I haven't. I know.
You've seen
I'm
Family
not.
Guy, The Simpsons, and
I'm
South Park,
not
but you
a
haven't seen In the Line of
huge-
Fire with Clint Eastwood.
So, like, I love Clint Eastwood, but I'm not a fan of his earlier work. It's the later.
Dude
stuff
was
I
like 71 when he did that movie. It wasn't his early work.
Have I seen it?
It was middle of
I
the
don't
road
know.
work.
John,
Have we watched it
John
together?
Malkovich was the other guy in that, I think. Yeah.
He didn't just get off the horse from the outlaw Josie Wales. I mean, there was
Rene Russo, yeah.
I was gonna say Josie Wales is the one you.
There
That
was
was
40 years in between there.
that was made in like 76-ish.
Okay.
In the Line of Fire was made in like 2000.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about In the Line of Fire. Who else
he's
was
in
in
the,
that?
John Malkovich and Rene Russo. He was in the Secret Service, guarding the president. He was on the presidential detail of Kennedy. Was the whole premise of the thing.
Actually, wait. I have seen this.
Oh.
Yes. I
Oh,
have.
have you or haven't you?
Yeah,
Make-
I have.
Make up your
I
mind.
have. I have. Well, I had to
Pick
think
a side
about
of the
it for a
fence.
second.
You're thinking of JFK with Kevin Costner.
No, I'm
Also
not,
a good
actually.
flick,
It is.
It is good.
if you got the time.
Only made me watch that 300,000 times.
It's a good flick.
Tony.
I'm trying to figure out
Tony's
cleaner
the
technology,
type-
so I'm studying the movie.
Tony's the type. He's like, oh, this is a good movie. So anytime I'm bored, we're going to watch this 500
I'm the
times.
same way. I don't watch anything new.
I've
It's
seen
funny, stuff I've seen
Titanic
before.
more times than I can even count. Let's see. What else did you... Point Break.
Point Break, awesome flick.
The
Wedding
cowboy,
Crashers.
Utah.
Josie Wales.
the cowboy way was always a favorite.
What's the
Yep.
other one? you always
Tombstone.
make me watch?
Wedding
Tombstone's
Crashers.
a good one.
Wedding
Crashers.
Crashers. Wait, what? Old
Shawshank
School.
Redemption.
If you want to throw
Shawshank-
some miles my way, I mean, if you want to, it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because I always tell the kids, you shut your mouth when you're talking to me, so I always show that part of it.
Hillbilly.
Yeah.
You motorboating.
Dwight Yoakam is a phenomenal actor.
He is.
Like
Yes.
Sling Blade, Wedding Crashers, all that. He's great.
Go ahead. Pop your
Sling
pills.
Blade, yes.
Go ahead. Go comatose for me, baby.
Yeah. He played the part in Sling Blade phenomenally.
Yeah.
Done an excellent job.
Yeah, he did. And that's what always baffled me, like, when he did that versus his character in Wedding Crashers. Like,
Yeah.
complete opposites. But yeah. It was good.
Days of Thunder,
Billy Bob Thornton in...
Top Gun, 1 or 2.
No, what's the Bears thing?
Bad News Bears.
Bad
the
News Bears.
The baseball game.
Yes. That's Billy Bob Thornton, right? Okay. Yeah.
The
I've seen that
original
1,000
one with
times.
Walter Matthau was the one I didn't watch one.
No. What's the one with Santa Claus? Billy Bob Thornton. He's Santa.
Bad Santa.
Bad
Bad
Santa.
Santa.
That's
Oh
a
my
good
God,
flick.
I've seen that way too many times.
And Bad Santa, too.
I've not seen Bad Santa 2, thank God.
Bad Santa. Did they drop you on your fucking head? How would somebody drop me on your head? Not on my head. God damn it, are you fucking with me?
I assure you, every time I'm like, this is B. Tony as Santa.
Yeah.
100% Bad Santa.
I'm going to go
be
make
Tony.
sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tony be selling advent calendars this fall.
Yep.
You ate all
You
the
should
chocolate.
actually. That should be our big thing. You should sell advent calendars, but like take out half the chocolate.
It's a gleaner. And then at the end, for Christmas,
you pull a Gleaner part out
pull the
every day.
rotor out. You pull the rotor out for Christmas.
Yes. Yes. We could sell the dog shit out of these things.
Yes, no doubt.
Hilarious.
No doubt. We should start selling Gleaner fortune cookies. Gleaner fortune cookies, and every day you crack them open and you find out what bearing's going out today. What problem are you going to have? Get a whole new market here.
Is this the 7 or the 77? That's the question.
So I tried to buy a Super 8 the other day. I ended up at a sleazy motel. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Exactly.
$39.95.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Discount.
It came with herpes.
Super 7. Motel Gleaner. They'll leave the light on for you.
Yep, that they will.
Just the glow of it burning.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Burning is the key word here. Burning.
I think that's a fucking
something. Talk about stupid TV shows. Beavis and Butthead. That was dumb. Funny in small
my
clips. If you can watch the whole episode of that, you'll want to hang yourself.
Okay,
the Beavis
so
and Butthead Do America was okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
time
the
out.
show was dumb.
Fan of Beavis and Butthead Do America, yay or nay?
Yeah, I'd say yeah.
Yay or nay?
Well, yeah, they've been whacking in my camper.
Yay or nay?
Well, I'm not against it. They were in America.
Dumbest show on the planet. Like, seriously.
Oh, it's better than the normal episodes, though.
Oh, and Harry
Dumbest
Potter is a
show
great
ever.
show.
Yeah.
I'm not even debating that. I'm just
I
saying.
would hope not, because you don't have much.
Sounds
I'm
like
not-
you're a
I'm not-
Dumbledore.
I like the books, actually. I like the
Oh.
books versus the movies. But they have at least more content than Beavis and Butthead Do America, where we're just like,
Beavis and Butthead's more realistic. I can name you 3 people right now that act just like those guys.
My name is
and I'm
Cornholio.
sorry for you for that. I'm sorry.
I don't
for
hang
you
out
for
with
that.
them. I'm just saying.
I wonder after that movie was made, how many thousands of people went to Hoover Dam and during the tour and asked if that was a goddamn. I mean, you know,
Oh, of course
those
they
people
did.
had
Of
to be
course they
sick
did.
and tired of hearing that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So my brother doesn't have TV, but he owns every episode on DVD of Beavis and Butthead.
Oh my god.
And
I can
he
believe
watches them repeat.
And I'm
can believe
disappointed. I'm disappointed.
He
I'm
also
disappointed.
watches old VHS tapes of the Headbangers Ball, the
Oh.
metal
No,
section
that's
of
good.
MTV.
I would like that actually,
Yeah.
but not Beavis and Butthead. No,
Yeah.
Beavis and Butthead. I cannot stand behind. Headbangers Ball or Hairbangers Ball?
Headbangers Ball was metal.
Headbangers. Okay.
My brother likes
So
the heavy stuff.
Hairbangers Ball was a big band whenever I was in college, and they played everywhere. That's what I was thinking.
Interesting.
Beavis and Butthead are stupid. I'm just saying.
Well, they are dumb. I didn't say they were
They're-
smart.
they're stupid.
I didn't say you were going to feel better about yourself when you got done with them. Like, you're
Actually,
gonna get
you
done-
are going to feel
no,
better
you're
about
gonna get
yourself
done, like,
because
I am
they're
now
like
stupider from having
they
watched
are
that.
the dumbest people in the entire world. So I'm at least not at that level.
I don't know. They're not liberal.
Yeah.
But they're pretty dumb. I always feel stupider after watching anything
Absolutely.
with Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did I really just spend 30 minutes watching that? Like, why?
Coming
Why?
from the person who got a Harry Potter box in the mail that when you open it, it explodes with little butterflies everywhere. I would be so disappointed if somebody gave me that gift. I would re-gift it.
Note to self, that's what you're getting for our anniversary.
How about no?
I love how anti Harry Potter you
It's
are.
satanic.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
It's tomfoolery.
It's satanic, seriously.
Yeah.
Coming from the guy who can't post a video without dropping the F-bomb 10 times at least.
Satanic.
It's the same thing. A sin is a sin, man.
That's witchcraft.
But it's not like I believe in it and I think it's real.
Well, you're getting Harry Potter accoutrements in the mail.
So here's my question. So I have
If you could sign up for, if you got a thing in the mail tomorrow
Time out.
where you could sign up for Hogwarts, there's a 50-50 shot you send it back in on the off chance it's real.
No, I'm not going to say it. I know it's not real, though. That's the thing. That's the whole thing. I know it's not real. Okay, so time out. So he wants to get
You know
on
my
me
blood.
about
We're
the
gonna get
whole
schooled,
Harry Potter
folks.
thing. Yes, you are. Do we not read our kids the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Or Cinderella?
Have I?
Or Beauty and the Beast?
Have I? Have I ever read him that stuff?
No, but you're fine with that. You
I didn't know
don't.
you was reading it to him.
Stop.
I didn't.
You're not like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just read this Disney story to him, whatever. All of those stories are just as ridiculous and false as the Harry Potter stories.
Is there as much witchcraft in them?
So Snow White has an evil stepmom who's going to create a poison apple that she's going to take a bite of and die. And then
that's not witchcraft.
And then if you watch true crime,
and then she has to wait. No, wait, stop. And then she has to wait for Prince Charming to kiss her and break the spell. How is that any different than Harry Potter?
I'm not reading it to them.
But you don't discourage that like you do Harry Potter.
I didn't know you was reading it to them, so don't read any of it to them.
Stop it.
On a sidebar, my eldest child told my wife that I couldn't read because I've never read to my children. He just assumes that I can't read.
So you're illiterate, is what you're telling us.
Apparently, my 7-year-old
So what
reads
does your
better than me.
say right now? Can you read
CBD.
that to us?
So my kids, when they ask me to read a story, I always start at the beginning and I read every word on the front cover of the book, and then I flip it open and I read all the copyright 1952. Yes, I do. Ask any one of them.
No, this is what he does.
So by the time we get to page 2, they're so bored, they're like, I'm done.
And he's like, okay, fine, I'm going to read you the story. And he acts like he's reading super, super fast. And I'm like, that's not right. And he's like, I'm just reading it. That's whatever.
Here's how my dad did it. The beginning, the middle, the end. You're done.
That's kind of how I did it. I was messing with my son whenever he decided I couldn't read, and I would say words backwards, act like I didn't know what they were. He didn't find that near as comical as I did, but
it was just also you didn't have to read to him. 100%.
Yeah,
you're just like, I'm tired. I don't want to do this.
And my wife takes care of that.
Bless her.
That's her thing. She reads like 4 books a day. It seems like.
Same.
Yep.
That's me. 100%.
I'm just saying right here now. All that time you spent reading Harry Potter, do you think would have been better spent reviewing the Kama Sutra?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Last question. Both books.
Okay, so we're going to get real uncomfortable here. And I've had several drinks, so that's the only reason we're bringing this up. So, Tony, are you dissatisfied with that part of our life?
With what part of our life?
Our sex life.
No.
Then I don't need to read that.
Okay.
I'm good.
Are you just? Is that why you're reading Harry Potter?
No, he asked me if I should have spent all the time reading Harry Potter, and I should have spent that reading Kama Sutra. And I'm like, are you dissatisfied?
No, I just said no. Yeah.
No. So then there's no time wasted. I'm good to go. I'm good to go.
I guess she's saying the ball's in your court. I don't know.
Is your wife dissatisfied? Are you dissatisfied? Is that what you're trying to tell us here?
No, not at all. I'm not reading Harry Potter. I'm good. I'm not reading in general. Maybe should. They made a movie out of a lot of that.
Yeah.
You maybe should.
According to my son, I'm illiterate, so we're golden.
Yeah.
Never once have I called Nick and he's like, hey, man, I'm in the middle of Top Gun right now reading the book. I'll have to call you back.
Yeah, that's true.
We watch the movies.
So here's my thing, and it's 100% your personality.
The books don't put more stuff in it. The movies are better.
Shut up. No,
half the
movies
time.
are not better.
I already know what you're going to say.
Stop. It's your personality. I want to read a book, and I want to imagine these characters in my mind, and I want to create all... I'm not calling on you yet. I want to create all of this in my mind. And then when I watch the movie, I'm disappointed because it doesn't match up with what's in my
You should have watched the movie first.
But
so you are disappointed.
But this is what tells me I have a great imagination.
And see, I wasn't watching pornography. I was watching the Kama Sutra book.
All right, Nick, go ahead.
So nobody that's ever watched Tombstone was disappointed in that movie.
I would agree with that, actually. I wasn't disappointed.
Okay, I got a confession to make. I've never seen Tombstone.
You never had scrambled eggs, so...
What? You've never seen it?
Oh, my God. Eggs, whatever.
Even anyway. I have seen it.
I have not seen Tombstone.
But anybody that's read stuff on Wyatt Earp was not near as enthralled as they were watching Tombstone. If the movie's done right and correct, so here's my thing about...
I liked it.
Here's my thing. Once you see certain movies in certain scenarios, and I'll use Tombstone for a good example, I can't watch any of the other stuff like Wyatt Earp or any, the movie or whatever, in my mind, it is always those characters doing it that way. I can read about it. I can see other movies on it. It is always those characters because they did it so well.
I agree with that.
Which is the same thing for you on books on certain other things. And then the
Absolutely.
movie is always disappointing because the book was this and you imagine it that way.
He gets it.
I totally see where you're coming from. Well, like I always tell my wife, why don't you, instead of reading some fiction bullshit, why don't you read a manual about how to run something here so we could figure this out? If you're gonna spend your time reading, like, here's what you should do. Here's what you and Kelly should do. Since you guys both
Please tell me, because I'm just dying for you to guide my
read,
life. Go ahead.
Since you guys both love to read, and what I have learned is there's a lot of illiterate farmers that physically cannot run an owner's manual. If you would do audible books on tape of owner's manuals, and then they could drive around and figure out what the hell they're supposed to be doing because they never read it.
And then for the guys like me who don't want to listen to that, do a video, but like maybe do it topless or real skimpy or something.
No, just read the owner's manual in a real breathy voice.
Yeah.
And next,
Yeah.
the drain plug
So
out.
You guys.
The oil drips. Drips.
So on your next podcast,
Fucking dollar idea.
Note to self. Note to self. $1 million idea.
Next thing you know, oil changes went through the roof. We're selling grease by the drum.
the Snap-on guys sending you free stuff.
Yeah.
Deere is completely pissed because they quit selling parts. Like, these fucking guys are actually reading the owner's manual.
These guys are trying to fix their own shit.
Jesus, they found all the greaser.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. We got 85 tractors out here that need the valves adjusted at 1,500 hours.
Yeah.
They're lined up.
Yeah.
Never done one before, but my God, they're racked and stacked.
Come on, Caroline. Get with the program.
This is actually a genius idea.
It
I
is,
like
I'm
it. I
telling
like
you.
it a lot.
I'm telling
From
you.
what I see on TikTok, I'm one of the few that actually reads an owner's manual.
Yeah.
I would
saying.
agree with that.
I own 3 owner's manuals for my combine. All 3 different versions because you can't buy the actual one that's for the combine because they're all 3 wrong. But if you piece them together, you can kind of make heads or tails of it. Yeah. Well, there's not an actual one for that combine. The one that come with it's wrong. The next version's wrong. The version after that's wrong too. But if you piece them together,
You kind of get a
you
right
get the
way.
gist.
At least they print them. Half the crap you buy now.
Oh, if you hand me a DVD for that shit, I just want to shove it down your throat. But what burns my ass about owner's manuals is when I go to the index, by God, I expect it to be a freaking index. I don't want it categorized by topic. That's not a fucking index.
Yep, I agree.
An index is A to Z. Auto steers towards the front. Zipping your ass, fly up when you get pee off the ladder is at the back. Like, why are we breaking this down by topic? That's in the front. That's the table of contents.
Under the
Yeah,
B13.
I want an index to list the index the way it should be done.
Yeah, I don't know who's writing owner's manuals, but they are.
But they're terrible at it.
It's obviously the engineers or the engineers'
Take that
wives.
Obviously, you
safety
guys
shit,
need to take this over.
Put that in a separate safety pamphlet that I can burn. I don't need any of that shit. You can leave all that shit out, which is the first 453 pages.
Yeah.
Get rid of that. Then it'll actually fit where I want to put it. Yeah. Mesmerizing.
You guys should maybe like write a letter to the editor, something like that.
Editor of what?
Yeah.
The owner's manuals.
Maybe we should.
He tries
Just
explaining
give
that
them
to
some cliff
Gleaner on
notes. Be
TikTok.
Maybe we
like,
should
hey,
find
this
out.
is how you guys should do things.
Maybe we should find the fine folks at Hogwarts and have the little spell put on that and then
Yeah.
get that shit changed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be much.
You were trying to be really bad with that, but the fact that you knew Hogwarts and
When
spells
it's on 24 hours at my house and when I come over here, like I got no choice but to pick up a
Hey,
few
it
things
is
here and there.
not
Shirley.
24 hours on our house, is it?
He said his house. He doesn't.
I know, but it's not 24 hours on our house.
No, it's not 24 hours at my house. My wife's not awake that long, but if she was,
Oh my gosh, I want you to know.
And Beans, we have an antenna. Probably not going to be on
Somebody
here a whole
made a
lot.
comment to this evening. It was like 8:30. Michelle, and she was like, "Oh, do you think Kelly's still awake?" And I literally laughed out loud. I said, "Oh no, she's
My
had her
daughter-
sleepy time tea and she's done."
My daughter
She's in
called her
bed.
from the barn the other day and woke her up. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? She goes, I didn't know she was asleep. I'm like, it's after 9 o'clock. What would give you the inkling? Because we'd been at a basketball game and I sent my daughter out to do chores because she was supposed to. And before she left, she didn't have them done. I'm like, I could have done them, yes, before I left.
It's not the point.
But that would not
No,
teach
it's the
anybody a
principle of
lesson.
it. Principle.
So, exactly. So I sat in the kitchen and watched her out the window. And then she called my wife and woke her up. I'm like, hey, dipshit. She's been asleep for 40 minutes. Because it was like 9:42. It was getting close to 10. Yeah, whatever. If I only had one ring to rule them all, I could have solved all these problems.
I don't get that.
Laugh it up, Drunky. That's Lord of the Rings.
I do know it.
Which I also have not seen, but I know that clip.
He knows the joke, though.
Yeah. Yeah, when you hang out with nerds. Anyway, we've been
She made
all
a
over
comment
this
to me
shit,
the other
Lord.
day. She said something about, she was like, well, I'm real tired, but it's only like 7:30, so I'm trying to stay awake till 8 p.m., but I
Yeah.
drink my sleepy time tea. And I was like, it's 8 p.m. What are you doing?
When do you do your podcast with her? 8 a.m.?
6.
If she sleeps anymore, you just will have her stuffed.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, that goes back to the Kama Sutra and the happy life.
This is the only, I'm just going to throw this out here right now.
Middays when she peaks, Tony.
She's a few years older than us.
She is
and
old as
maybe
shit,
she's
yeah.
tired. She's
No,
tired.
she's been that way as long as I've known her.
She's tired.
I'm 42, but I haven't been in a coma since I was 37. I'm fine.
She's tired.
Okay.
If you had to put with my shit, you'd be tired too. I get it.
She had a long day.
I expect.
So
Oh my God, this is like a
This-
fucking
this one-
3-hour
this one has
podcast.
rambled on.
5
We
hours
apologize. We have been all
later.
over the fiction world. We've been all over the four-wheeler world. It all went to shit when Drunky come in on this deal.
I didn't
We
even
apologize.
do anything.
Oh, yeah. Typical woman. Deny, deny, deny.
As
I will
Spaz would have
admit
said, it just got totally way the fuck out of hand.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it when that happens. Yeah.
But I do think I'm going to look into the Gleaner Advent calendars where you pull the road route every day coming up to Christmas.
There you go.
Yeah.
Great idea.
That would be a
Drop
good marketing
drops
thing.
a little piece of grain out the back left side every time you do it. The candy corn.
Yeah, we can throw a little roller bearing in there too.
Oh, and it goes out. So you miss a couple days while you're getting it changed. Oh, this is genius. And once you get all the candy corn out, the auger goes halfway up and then falls off.
That's perfect.
Merry
Perfect.
freaking Christmas.
All right. No, just write that down. Tony,
Yeah.
write that down. Write that
For
down.
sure.
Van Wilder, another solid movie.
That is a
Yes.
solid movie.
That it is.
I have seen that several times.
Well, I would hope so.
And I have also seen all the American Pie movies. So
Well, they got really dumb after like the third one.
Yeah.
but yeah.
After
Well, I
American
was gonna
Pie
say-
2, over.
how many of them?
1 and 2 was the only ones worth watching.
And then the wedding one.
I was going to say
Yeah.
American Wedding.
Yeah, so there
I
was
think
3
we
of them
watched
that were
that
good.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But have you seen the movie Waiting?
No.
I've heard about that. Is it any
No,
good?
wait, time out.
Oh, it's freaking
Waiting,
awesome.
like W-A-I-T-I-N-G.
You can't read,
No.
Carolyn.
Right.
Give him a break. Jeez.
Right.
Can he spell? I can spell the name, for God's
You know,
sake.
people that can't read aren't real good spellers. Okay.
Okay.
Marginal at best.
So, who is in this?
Ryan Reynolds is the lead character. It's around the
Okay,
same Van
so I have
Wilder
not.
time.
No, I don't know about this.
It's a group of people that work at a restaurant and they like to fuck with everybody. It's a great show.
Okay.
Truthfully, since we're talking about movies, this podcast should be called Pulp Fiction because we're just like
we are
all over the
board.
fucking
If
place.
you guys can piece this shit together, hats off to you.
All right. Actually, if you have not watched Pulp Fiction and you're listening to this, go watch Pulp Fiction.
I can't tell you what it's about
Everything we
because
do.
I don't really know what it's about.
You don't know what it's
So I
about.
got to get
Oh
through
my
this.
God.
I don't think Tarantino
breastplate?
knew what the hell it was
No.
about.
I'm gonna fucking.
I got to stab her 3 times.
I said that out loud. Stab you.
That is a tasty burger.
I will never, ever, ever forget. We went to the Louisville Farm Show.
Charm
First
show?
year farm show.
Statistics.
Statistics. Anyways, we went to the Louisville Farm Show the first year him and I were dating, and we went down to Burger King, and his
It was the
BFF
next morning. We were still drunk.
Well, we got there late. They were all
This is
still
a
drunk.
tasty burger.
I was sober.
It was after 11. You got a burger at
Anyhow,
Burger
so
King,
we
but
walk
whatever.
into the Burger King, and they're like, "That is a tasty burger," and he like started dying laughing, and I was
Then I had to get me a milkshake so I could do that. That is a good fucking milkshake.
and he's like out of control, and I'm like, "What the heck are you doing?" Because I had not seen Pulp Fiction at that point, and then
That's your own fault.
I finally had it.
So do you John Travolta dance at weddings?
I do
Oh,
not.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I think you should.
No.
You should do it just to surprise people. Like, people would have no idea if you were like out there.
Yeah, they
It'd be
would.
amazing.
Yeah. If you give up Harry Potter, I'll do the Travolta
For the listeners
dance.
at home, Carolyn just stood up and did a
That's a
little
lie.
Travolta dance.
We'll call it a ditty.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna give up. You're gonna do the dance if I give up Harry Potter.
No, the dance he will do is from the last Boy Scout. What dance was it? Name that dance.
I have no idea. I've never seen that.
You've never seen the last Boy Scout?
No. No.
You're done.
No.
You're
who is even
you seen
in the last Boy Scout?
That I have with Damon Wayans.
Damon Wayans and Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
What did he dance?
That I don't remember. I remember the
That's
part
a jig.
set in the hot tub where he throws the football and smacks him in the face.
Best damn artist in the National League. Remember that, you. So on and so forth. Yeah.
No. I have no idea.
Yeah, he danced a jig.
A jig?
The
A
jig.
jig.
Yeah.
The jig. What is the jig?
But there was foreshadowing for you book readers.
I like
And he
that. I like the use of that word.
how
Foreshadowing.
if he survived this deal, he was going to dance a jig. And after he ended up solving the whole deal for everybody, he danced a jig on the big screen. Little Bruce Willis style.
What kind of jig?
Shaking it. Not a lot.
So have you ever seen Pulp Fiction?
Absolutely. Multiple times.
So what's your favorite part of the whole movie?
I can't repeat what mine is, but it's after somebody gets shot in the car and they go to the guy's house.
What?
Yes.
No, my
See a
favorite
sign in
part.
the front of my house. If my wife gets home and sees this, there's no trial separation. I'm getting freaking divorced, Tony. Okay.
My favorite part is when Samuel L. Jackson walks in and quotes that Bible verse to them. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my favorite.
Okay, your story did end it. Keep going.
No, that was it.
Oh,
that,
you brought.
that
Okay.
was my whole story.
Oh, okay.
Shit, you said in the wolf? That's all you had to say.
The thing I loved and hated about that whole movie, though, was the whole back and forth.
That's all Tarantino shit, though.
Exactly.
That's
and
what he
so
does.
it's like, we're here, but no, we're 3 days before, and then no, we're here, and then we're 2 days before, and you're like, what the heck happened? So by the time you get to the end of the movie, you're like, wait, what just happened? Was that
You feel that
present
sting?
day, or
That's
was
pride.
whatever?
Messing with you.
Real quick before we got to wrap up here. Have you seen Inglorious Bastards?
No.
World
I
War
haven't.
II.
I
The World
have.
War II one.
I feel
I'll put it in easy terms. It's a Jewish person's version of how the war should have went.
Yeah.
so. Tell me who was in that.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
And George Clooney. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've seen
Didn't come off
previews.
no Smoky
okay,
Mountain.
Yes. yes.
tonight.
I've seen previews.
You owe
of
me
that.
100 Nazi scalps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
need to watch
There's a lot of good people in it. You'd like it.
Okay.
It's a little vulgar.
Note to self. Write that down, Tony.
Pulp Fiction. Quality flick.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds. All right, so they're all looking at me. I feel like we
Yeah,
should
you
call
really
it
drug
a-
us off track.
I
There we
didn't do
were. There we were.
anything.
Thomas the Train it right on into the station. And
Why would you be
drug us-
Thomas that traded it?
We
Be a
just discussed
Percy,
this.
be a Henry, be anything but Thomas. He was always off the rails.
Before you come in,
Which is
I
where
was
you
get-
took us.
I had a beautiful story prepared about the history of the 1066 International, and
Yeah.
it got derailed.
Yeah, there I
He's
was
lying.
pulling my 1066,
He's
my
lying.
79
You
Ford,
did not.
and you ran us right off the bridge. Girl.
They're all lying.
Yep.
They're all lying.
I was going to tell you how my dad helped design that tractor, my uncle helped design the 79 Ford, and how this
But
all
see-
tied together, and you fucking ruined it.
I was
So
gonna-
here,
was gonna
here
say,
I
had
came
been at the side
down and
console.
I added spice to your life, and I made it exciting instead of the good old boring story.
Nope, instead you brought in your Harry Potter trickery, and you got us off
Yeah,
course.
there we go.
My
Witchcraft.
trickery.
Drug,
My
it,
trickery.
drug us down.
What is that off of Wedding Crashers?
No, the breakup.
Yeah.
No, the breakup.
If you ever want to see what her and I's divorce would look like,
absolutely.
the breakup.
Yeah, absolutely. What,
And that is
why would I want 12 lemons?
that is
why would I want
hilarious,
to do dishes?
Yes.
hilarious and depressing at the same time. Like
So true.
100%. Like it makes me so sad
Why?
because why
Well,
would
it had a happy ending. Everybody ended up happy at the end of it.
Yeah.
they ended up split up?
I
They
know.
should have. She was a bitch.
So
Yeah.
does that say? Are you saying I'm a bitch?
No.
Did I say that? I said
She is not
No.
you, Carolyn.
So am I a
What's your
bitch?
pronoun?
No.
Because you just said the breakup is you and me.
Pick a pronoun.
well, if we
Carolyn.
were breaking up, you would be a bitch. That's the way it works.
But you're like, if we broke up, this is exactly how it would be, and she's a bitch. So that you're
You
basically
don't want
telling
him
me,
to do dishes.
Yeah. exactly.
I know.
Where
I
is she
want
dead?
you to want to do the dishes.
Why would I want to do dishes?
Dishes. Yeah, exactly. That makes no sense.
Exactly.
From a guy that can't really read, I missed the instructions on that.
Exactly.
Can't do a 12 lemon
Exactly.
centerpiece, Carolyn, with 6
Do you have a
lemons.
dishwasher?
No.
Absolutely.
Yes, you
No.
do.
She has a mirror.
It doesn't work. I have a mirror. God bless America. I'm going to throw this mirror in your face.
That's what I
Tony,
told
your
my
sandwich maker's getting irritable over here.
My sandwich.
You can get a.
His sandwich maker? Are you kidding
You're
me?
going to want to call the Maytag man on this deal. This thing is defective.
Did I send you the ultimate troll video on TikTok the other day with the guy sitting in the hi-ho with his lunch?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, my
You
God.
showed
where
it
he's
to
throwing
me.
it out.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I didn't see that
Hilarious.
one.
Oh my God! Well, I got to see what my wife packed me today. Fucking takes a banana. Don't need that fucking thing. And he just all the health food. He
It
just
was
starts
like a
throwing it out
whole
the fucking
like
window.
jar of fruit, and he's just
Oh my
like
God!
dumping it
The
out.
people
The
lost their
yogurt.
fucking minds. On
I
that
just
video.
wish my wife would send that to me.
Oh my
I'd be happy if I got that
God.
at my lunch.
There was women literally in tears in the comments.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the most epic troll job I have ever seen in my life.
Tony has never been so jealous in his
I
entire
told Iron
life,
Mike Sharp,
ever.
I texted him like, dude, we got to get him in the group. I mean, this guy has got it figured out.
Yeah, no doubt.
Tony was sad. He
All
just
right,
really
we
wished he
we
had done
gotta
that.
cut this off. We are literally
Yeah.
like over 2 hours.
Yeah,
in
we
this.
got to nip this one.
Okay.
You're
So
welcome.
sorry for you long haul truckers. We're going to get you right to the edge of California, and then you got to take it the rest of the way on your
rest of the
own.
way.
And you gotta
We don't go to
stop.
California.
Right before you get in the
You gotta
app.
No,
Rick
we,
Shaw.
like Nick said, we don't go into
Yeah, we
California.
don't go to
so-
California. We are not California idol friendly.
That's right. So if you're at the Nevada border, we're going to cut her off right here.
Anybody's taking notes, I was only on here for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, my ass.
Maybe 30.
Yeah.
How about an hour or
Maybe.
3?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You drug us down, way down, Carolyn.
Yeah.
Anyway, nip this deal, Tony,
Yeah.
before we ramble on.
Yeah, no shit. So anyway, we do have to cut this sumbitch off.
Have a good night.
Don't be
Later.
cutting in on us here. We got to
Yeah.
go with the outro music.
Yeah,
and-
you got your own podcast, Carolyn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Run it on your own time.
Yeah.
You guys have a good evening.
Oh, you got theme music on your podcast?
I do, actually.
Oh, really?
I
Do you?
do.
Okay.
If you listen to it, you would know.
Well, this is true.
He's waiting for the movie.
Yeah, exactly.